Tonight, the stars will shine while the young guns yearn to cement their name at the place where it all began. It's about speed. It's about skill. But most of all, it's about avoiding the big one. For the true racing fan, Daytona has become an American way of life. Celebrate family, fun, and the need for speed. The 4th of July at Daytona.
T-minus 10, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ignition.
ESPN welcomes you to NASCAR Countdown. Getting ready for some fireworks, the on-track kind, as the NASCAR Nationwide Series runs 250 miles at the massive Daytona International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida. You know, when they opened the gates here for the first time in 1959, drivers and fans had never seen anything like it. It's a big place, and the great racing it's turned out over the years has made it a big scene. Winning a Daytona trophy is such a big deal that despite the steamy summer weather, 15 Cup drivers are going to race tonight as well as tomorrow. A big effort that tells you just how big Daytona is. Qualifying was held today at 1 Eastern Time. Clint Bowyer set the pace for much of the session in the Holiday Inn car and was ready to claim the pole position. But with just 2 cars left to run, Mother Nature had other ideas. The old Florida summer afternoon shower gave the Speedway quite a soaking. That was just after 3:30 Eastern Time. 90 minutes later, the track drawing began. And at 5:49 local, those final 2 cars, the Earnhardts, Kerry and Dale Jr., ran with Kerry qualifying 8th. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. rounding out the qualifying with a 7th place run. That puts Clint Bowyer on pole position for tonight's race. The defending series champ is with Jamie Little.
And it's his first pole here at Daytona, and first since 2007, Clint. So being that you guys qualify in race setup here, how do you think that speed will translate into race setup?
It was full race trim, so you know, the cars got great speed. It was fast in practice. It was fast in February when we were down here. So, you know, hats off to Doug Randolph, all the guys on a Holiday Inn Chevrolet. You know, appreciative of them. You know, that's a credit to all their hard work. The engine shop at ECR for building good horsepower. Harvick's got you know ECR horsepower too. So hopefully we can work with him a little bit and stay up front and hopefully win this thing.
Nothing like waiting 4.5 hours to find out it is official. He is your pole sitter. Mike Massaro.
It was an emotional win for Matt Kenseth back in February. He led just 7 laps in the Great American Race, but they were 7 very important laps as he won the Daytona 500. This is your first race back at this place since that victory. What's it like for you?
It's great to come back here. Daytona is always a special place to race, and to be able to win a 500 was really special. So I'm really looking forward to running a nationwide race tonight. They have the City Financial Ford, I think, running pretty good, so I'm ready to get at it.
And guys, it wasn't just in the Cup race that he was good. He was pretty good in the nationwide race back in February. He led 15 laps. He should be a factor today, Alan.
Matt starting 6th in that 16 car. Thank you, Michael. You know, I talked about this massive track. There's Kyle Busch getting ready to go. 480 acres is this place. You could fit 8 NFL stadiums inside the infield. You can also fit a TV studio, our ESPN pit studio, right alongside Victory Lane. And we welcome you inside. Alan Bestwick with 4-time Daytona race winner Dale Jarrett and Brad Daugherty. I bet you both got more than a few July 4th weekend memories here, huh?
Yeah, quite a few. As much as the Victory Lane celebrations were great, I remember as a kid back in the early 60s coming here. This was vacation time, going to the beach with my family. My dad didn't have many weekends off, but I always had a weekend off before this race, and so it was great to be able to spend that time with them.
For me, it was 1977, coming here as a kid and walking out right there in Section J and looking at the enormity of this place, watching these race cars, 43 race cars, steam around here at 200 miles an hour. It was awe-inspiring.
Let's talk about the race we're going to see tonight. The engine and aerodynamic rules NASCAR uses to contain speeds in the interest of safety means pack racing. What's that like for the drivers? What are we going to see?
Well, I was talking to Casey Kane about it, the winner at Sonoma a couple weeks ago, by the way, and he was talking about how well these cars draft up with this roof deflector. It punches a big hole in the wind, and these cars handle very, very well, so the closing rates are outstanding.
Yeah, as good as they handle, though, it's still very intense racing. The drivers don't get a moment to rest or relax in there because there's something going on all the time. You're just always around cars. You're trying to make a pass, trying to decide which line's the best one to get in. You're hoping to make that choice. See the 80 out. Yeah, that's what you don't want to do, is be headed backwards in the middle, but very intense racing all night long.
And when you watch one of these races, that's what you tend to do a lot, is go, oh. Pack racing and drafting means the possibility of the big wreck. 10, 15 cars swept up in one accident. We haven't had the big wreck in the last 2 Nationwide Series races here. Why, and are we going to see it tonight?
Well, I'm going to give my opinion that the chance of that happening is always there because these cars do stay in the pack. But I believe because of this aero package, these guys have learned that they can be a little bit more patient with this. If you drop back a little bit, you can make your way back up. You don't always have to have a car helping you if your car is good enough in the handling side of this. So I think that has a lot to do with why we're not seeing the big one.
You tell this guy's been to victory lane a time or two here. As I walked through the drivers and talked to all of them, Kevin Harvick told me exactly what DJ said. He said with this package, it creates patience. You feel like you can race with someone, keep your car in shape, and it doesn't oscillate around like the Cup car. If you watch the race tomorrow night, you're going to see those cars dancing and beating all over the racetrack. These things are down into the racetrack, and these cats are digging.
Now, the drafting and pack racing also means we're probably going to see a pretty good finish like the one we had here in the last Nationwide Series race back in February.
Boy, it was outstanding. And you see right here we go. We got Tony Stewart and Kyle Busch. Kyle's giving him that little rat-a-tat-tat down the back straightaway. We go into the corner, DJ. He's trying to move him out of the way.
He thought he had done the perfect thing, pushing Tony Stewart into this corner a little bit too hard. He's back with the wrong guy here, though. Tony Stewart didn't come out of the throttle. I don't know many guys that could have held on right there. He's just working the steering wheel wide open still. Watch this right here. Watch his hand.
Wow.
Yeah, that was close right there.
Yeah.
And watch Carl Edwards coming in here, though. He's going to try to steal the victory. Watch his hands right here in that 60 car.
Oh, man.
Wow.
He's still up on it. These cats are getting after it. Tony Stewart gets the win. Carl Edwards is sideways. It's out. Oh, I can't. Let's go. Let's start it now.
That's more of that. Oh, what kind of race?
Are we going to see that again tonight? Probably so.
I hope so. That's for sure. Now, we referenced the engine and aerodynamic package that is used to contain the speeds in the interest of safety. As we bring in Tim Brewer from our Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim, I know we've done it before, but how about a refresher?
Aerodynamics is always important, Alan, here in Daytona because we're going to make the cars as slick as possible to get them through the air to run fast. But in the interest of safety, NASCAR has implemented a couple things to help the cars. This is actually a roof deflector, and what that does, it makes the silhouette of the car knock a lot larger hole in the air. Kind of like following a tractor and trailer down the road. You pull over behind it, it kind of pulls you along. But still yet, to make the cars drive a lot better, they actually put the gurney on the back of the spoiler, creating what you would call a parachute. Puts a lot of drag on the car, but it puts a lot of downforce on the rear of the car. And when you've got a lot of downforce on the rear of the car here, you can turn them from the top of the groove all the way to the bottom because they know the cars are going to stay under them.
All right, Tim, thanks. And still to come on NASCAR Countdown, the new shootout-style restarts. NASCAR unveiled a month ago. Come to the Nationwide Series for the first time tonight. How it will work in a moment. The season began here at Daytona back in February. This race marks the midway point in the schedule. We'll look back on the wild season it's been so far and talk with some of the players making the headlines. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has had more success in these Daytona races than any driver except one, his father. Earnhardt's success at Daytona next.
Hey, wetting a line on a Saturday night, you tell me it's in the great country we live in.
There's only one problem. It's Friday.
NASCAR Countdown, brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Play Driver Pick'em, presented by Nationwide Insurance on ESPN.com for a weekly shot at $500.
NASCAR celebrates America's independence in its traditional way. Racing at Daytona, the red, white, and blue flags are flying everywhere. The green flag flies shortly on the Nationwide Series 250-miler. The Daytona record books are filled with the name Earnhardt. Dale Earnhardt Jr. drives the 5 car tonight, seeking his 6th win in Nationwide Series competition here. The 5 times juniors reached the checkered flag first in one of these Daytona events. Includes a string of 3 straight. That happened back in 2003 and 2004. He's led every lap in one of these races. He's also had to rally late to get to victory lane. The column of most Nationwide Series wins at Daytona has the top two lines, both with the same name in them.
Boy, there's a lot of wins. Look at that. It's outstanding, just impeccable records here at Daytona.
Dale Sr. took the trophy 7 times, another 5 for Junior. That 5 car starts 7th tonight, Dave.
And with Dale Earnhardt Jr. now, who put in 18 laps of practice in the first session, and then, Junior, there was another hour left, and you didn't put a lap in out there. How come?
Well, the car was pretty good, and didn't think anybody was going to be able to. We didn't think many guys was going to get out there and run in packs to see how the car's handled. We figured everybody probably doing one run, single car runs. So yeah, we just didn't mess around with it. So car's in good shape, and it's good enough to win.
Hey, we know about your new diet and workout program on a night like tonight when it's so hot and so steamy. Are you glad you're doing it?
Well, sometimes. I mean, you get so sore on that stuff. I ain't sure. Sometimes you're not sure if it's worth it, but it makes you feel better, and I don't know. Everybody else is, when you're young, you can get away with about whatever you want, but the older you get, the less you can take things for granted. So I'm doing it now, so when I'm 40, I can still get this thing done.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be our in-race reporter tonight. If you've got a question you'd like to ask Dale Jr., log on to ESPN.com/NASCAR. Click on our link to Ask the Driver, or you can search Ask the Driver and pose your question to Dale Earnhardt Jr. Alan?
All right, David, thank you. So, big headline tonight, the shootout-style restarts NASCAR began using in the Sprint Cup Series a month ago will be used in the Nationwide Series beginning tonight. In a nutshell, instead of the lead lap cars being in a single-file line with the lap cars inside them, the lead lap cars will double up now, restarting side by side throughout the race like they do at the start of the race. The leader will, except in very rare circumstances, always be right behind the pace car. No more of those crazy tail end of the lead lap things. And the race leader gets to choose whether he'll take the inside or outside lane for each restart. So based on what you've seen in the Sprint Cup Series for the last month, what's it mean to the drivers? What's it mean to the racing we'll see?
Well, I think if restrictor plate racing could be more exciting, we're getting ready to see it tonight by having all of these guys up there. Double file. It's like the start of the race, every restart that we're going to have. So it's going to just add a little bit more excitement as we go through the night.
Can you imagine getting to the end of the race and having the opportunity with 10 laps to go to have a double file restart, and you're first or second, you're second, trying to make a decision on whether or not you want to be the guy leading and getting past at the end of the 5 laps, or do you want to be behind that guy to slingshot?
Yeah, and it could bring in the guys that start 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. I think they're going to have a great opportunity before we get off turn 2. They might be the guys racing for the lead down the back straightaway.
It's some footage from the Cup race at Michigan just a couple of weeks ago.
He is one of the best, Dale, and obviously he just
gets it
down.
Look at him pass cars on the outside. He starts back in 19th. I'm pretty sure we might see him try that tonight.
Well, I guarantee you'll see that.
Now, the leader getting to choose which lane to take for this particular race, you think see some different factors come into play?
Well, I think there's one thing that may come into the factor here, and it may be different than other racetracks. Other racetracks, and it's going to happen here too, is which lane takes off better, which line's going to be, and probably the outside is going to be what they choose. But where's your teammate lining up? Where's a good friend? Where's a drafting partner lining up? If that guy's in 3rd and not 2nd, then you might choose to take the inside because he'd be somebody that could push you. So we might see a little strategy played.
See some spotters counting cars coming off pit road. Which lane's my teammate going to be in? And a new term to get used to and a new strategy tool for crew chiefs, the wave around.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for crew chiefs. And basically, once the leaders come down to pit, the guys who stay out, when the leaders come back out, will get waved around to the back of the field. So in essence, everyone ends up racing for position.
Yeah, the one lap cars between the leader and the pace car.
Yeah, and the one thing that they have to make sure that they can't do, they cannot come to pit road. They have to take the green flag on the racetrack before they can come to pits if they choose. So very interesting thing that NASCAR added here.
Yeah. Going to be great for competition. Going to be a lot of fun to watch tonight. We need to get you from here up to there. I said it was a big track. Got to get you going.
All right,
Talk to you a little bit. Let's go back to the grid. Shannon?
Well, last time the Nationwide Series was at a restrictor plate track, it was David Reagan who got the monkey off your back, as you say. He won that race at Talladega. What did you learn about track position in that race that you can apply here this evening?
Well, the start-finish line at Daytona is a little closer to turn 4 than it is at Talladega, but you just got to be there at the end. Anything can happen in these races, and our discount tire Ford is fast. It's got good speed. I was kind of surprised at where we qualified, so it's good to start up front. Hopefully we can hang out up front and just anywhere in that top 5 or 6 when you take the white flag, and anything can happen.
Good luck to you tonight. David Reagan rolls off 2nd.
All right, Shannon, we are getting ready to go racing at Daytona with Kevin Harvick, the 07 Daytona 500 winner, his 33 car from 3rd spot tonight. We'll keep an eye on him. Here's David Gilliland.
David's doing a great job. The 42 car. Eddie Smith of Vander Holyfield, former heavyweight champ, got David up starting there in the 5th spot.
And Michael Annett, top qualifying rookie.
Michael Annett, who won the ARCA 200 at Daytona in February of '08. He's got a great chance for the rookie.
Starting from 9th position tonight as we count down to the green flag at Daytona.
Going to be a great Sunday night race.
Tomorrow afternoon, listen up here, Brad. ESPN delivers the 94th annual Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest.
Doggies.
Can Joey Chestnut defend his title and earn the coveted mustard yellow belt? Or will 6-time champion Kobayashi regain the title?
Man, they need to get me in that mix. I'll whoop them boys that eating some hot dogs, I'll tell you right now.
The 2009 Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest, ESPN, tomorrow at noon Eastern. For more, log on to ESPN.
Hot Dog Eating Contest.
All right, guys, this is it. A lot of hard work this winter. I respect for some of these guys, and hopefully we'll have some help at the end. Fired up when you're ready. Pace cars off. Good luck down there, man. Ready? Green flag. Green, green.
Kyle Busch leads the NASCAR Nationwide Series Championship standings.
How good is Kyle Busch?
In my opinion, he's the best.
Winning twice in one day, Kyle Busch makes NASCAR history.
Turn it up! Something drastically just changed.
Guys, that right rear tire is down on Kyle Busch.
The last pit stop. Every time I come to this racetrack, go, fuck!
That's part of this sport. One day you're on top, it can humble you pretty quick.
White flag for Kevin Harvick, looking for career win number 33. But it would be his first time to go to victory lane in his own race car.
How about that? Awesome job in the pit.
David Reagan is there. David Reagan gets the win at Talladega. Wow.
Good job, baby. How about that?
I'm telling you, boys, we got a race for the lead. Bliss got it.
Caution's out. Precipitation on the racetrack.
This race will...
Here goes Keselowski for the lead.
Brad Keselowski comes out of 4 and will pick up his first win in 2009.
That's how we roll.
Carl Edwards, just like a year ago, will break through and get his first win of the season.
Welcome back to victory lane. Good job, everybody. Great work.
You never know until these things are over exactly what's going to happen.
It's not over till it's over.
The opening 16 of 35 races in this NASCAR Nationwide Series season have certainly given us plenty to talk about. Kyle Busch leads the championship by 162 points. Pretty sizable lead that could be even bigger if not for some of the misfortunes Kyle's had. Brad, what's your one overriding impression of the season so far?
For me, AB, it's been the discrepancy between the first and second place cars and everyone else. I mean, Joey Logano, throw him into the mix a little bit, but Kyle and Carl have basically dominated, and the nationwide regulars just don't seem to be closing that gap. And that's what the biggest thing, the biggest impression on me. I want to see those guys be able to mix it up a little more.
All right, let's talk with some of the main players in the season so far. Mike?
And catching up with Kyle Busch, he was certainly a factor back in February in the closing laps. You're right on Tony's bumper in those closing laps. What can you take from the February race that might help you win tonight?
Be leading on the last lap. That's about it. They just, you know, we've been close the last few times here, but haven't been able to close out the deal, finishing second. So, you know, we'll take what we can get tonight and hopefully have a good NOS Energy Drink Toyota here to bring it home.
And Kyle has indeed been close. He hasn't finished any worse than 4th in his last 4 Daytona races, Shannon.
Mike, another driver that's been close is Carl Edwards. He's been passed for the lead with just a few laps to go twice in the last 2 races here at Daytona. So we know that you know how to get up front. What's your strategy to be there at the end?
Yeah, I guess that means I can get to the lead, but this Save-A-Lot Fusion has to handle really well. And I think Dan Stillman and the guys who got it, you know, to where when the tires get slick, it's going to handle well enough that we can race for the win. And just got to make sure my strategy is correct, you know, and make sure I put myself in a position to be able to hold guys off if we do get the lead. But there's a lot of fast cars. This is going to be a wild race. The double file restarts are going to be crazy. So, you know, as long as we're there at the end and in one piece, you know, then we'll think about the win. But that's the first battle, is to be there.
All right, it's all about strategy. It's all about position for Carl Edwards. Dave?
Well, last time we were at a plate race track, this guy won the Cup race. It was Talladega, so here he is this time around. I talked to your crew chief. He said at every track, you guys have been lacking a little bit of speed, but they've been working on it. How good is it for tonight?
I think it's really good. The plate tracks, we've had a lot of speed at. You know, the Mountain House, we seem to be just a little bit down on the 18, and we're working hard on it. But here, I think we're a little up on them. So I think we can get our Klondike Chevrolet up front there when it counts at the end, and hopefully get us a win here at Daytona.
Brad Keselowski has 5 consecutive top 3 finishes. Talk about consistency. Alan?
Yeah, Jamie, and he starts 4th tonight. Pit road is always important in the outcome of any race, but particularly here at Daytona, that will be the case as well. Our champion crew chief Andy Petrie's up in the booth getting ready to call the race with Doc Punch and DJ. Andy, arranging a pit stop here in one of these plate races, not as simple as just calling your driver on the radio.
No, it's not, Alan, because the draft means so much here at this racetrack that you have to be with your buddies. You kind of find yourself running with your teammates or people that you draft well with. You want to try to pit with them. So you get out there, the crew chief makes some calls out on the pit road to his buddies, say, hey, we're going to pit on lap, say, 57 or whatever lap. You have to come down the pit road exactly on that lap, the deal you made. Because if you don't and you leave your buddy hanging out on the racetrack, he won't trust you the next time. But there will be a lot of deals that are made down on pit road to try to keep these guys running in a pack.
Now that's for making a green flag pit stop. As far as caution flag pit stops, you think there's something with these new restart rules that might affect what we watch for tonight?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see a lot of gambling for track position because that track position can go away in a heartbeat here with this double file restart rule. And so you wouldn't want to go out there and say take no tires or 2 tires and try to get yourself up in, first, second spot and go down in turn 1. They all go 5 wide and you find yourself at the end. So I don't think you're going to see guys really gambling for that track position because, boy, I'm telling you, when these double file restarts happen, you're going to see cars everywhere.
All right, Andy, thanks for the time, and we'll talk to you in just a couple minutes.
Okay, Al.
Let's talk about our J-Ski news and notes now. Boy, it's been a busy week. Brian Berry, Brendan Gaughan's crew chief, who was suspended for an altercation after the Nashville race June 6th, will be reinstated by NASCAR next week, July 7th. Wisconsin Motorsports, the latest promotional group to operate the Milwaukee Mile, has apparently closed down. Reports are they owe NASCAR a big chunk of money. The initial 25 nominees to the NASCAR Hall of Fame unveiled last night, including people like Richard and Lee Petty, Dale Earnhardt, Cale Yarborough, Ned Jarrett, and our old buddy Benny Parsons, 5 to be enshrined into the Hall next May. And the continuing Jeremy Mayfield saga, a judge this week granting Mayfield's injunction request, clearing the way for him to compete, though he did not enter here. We'll see what the next moves by each side are going forward. I told you it was a busy week. Want some experienced hands to watch for tonight. How about Morgan Shepherd? Put up a qualifying lap, 10th fastest, got 47 starts here, just in points-paying races. How about 50-year-old Bobby Gerhart?
I'll tell you what, Bobby Gerhart's going to be a handful for these guys. He's got a ton of experience at this racetrack. In this type of race, he's going to be a threat.
And Lakeland native Joe Nemechek, a 2-time Daytona Nationwide Series winner. He starts 14th. It's NASCAR Countdown from Daytona.
I was a bad kid. I'd kick that down. I'd go over and knock it down.
Oh, man. July 4th weekend in Daytona Beach, Florida, where by day families splash in the surf or carve their creations into the hard-packed sands, where years ago the races used to be held. That was the time when the tag world's most famous beach was applied. Nighttime on this weekend now means the action moves a few miles inland to the Daytona International Speedway, where the high banks that have thrilled racers and fans for generations stand ready for action once again. 43 drivers hope they're the one crossing the finish line first and celebrating an Independence Weekend victory. ESPN's live coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series ready to go from the World Center of Racing as the green flag in the Subway Jalapeno 250 comes up moments from now. A couple of more drivers to watch tonight. Casey Kane back for a rare Nationwide Series start. He's driving Braun Racing's 10 car tonight and starting in 15th position on the grid. And how about a little nostalgia for you? Jason Keller drives for Baker Curb Racing, celebrating the 25th anniversary of Richard Petty's 200th win.
Man, I'll tell you, look at that race car. It reminds me of Air Force One landing in the background and the King toting the mail down the backstretch. Told Jason Keller that should be worth 2/10 to him tonight. He said maybe 1/10.
Mike Kerr, part owner of this team, was the owner of the King's car on the day he edged Cale Yarborough and got that historic 200th win with President Reagan looking on. Had the rain move through earlier today. Right now the track is dry, the fans are filing in, and we are almost set to fire them up here in Daytona. First, we go trackside for the opening ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Veterans of Foreign Wars Color Guard, represented by members from World War II, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Somalia, and Operation Iraqi and Enduring Freedom, present our nation's colors. Remain standing as Sonny Gallman of Central Baptist Church of Daytona Beach offers tonight's invocation.
Let us pray. Our God, we are grateful for this day that you have given to us to live in. We're grateful for opportunities for sacred fellowship like that which you've given to us tonight. We're grateful for the workers and for the volunteers who've given their time to make this night possible. On this eve of Independence Day, we pray that you would be with troops of all stripes and all colors around the world. Be with the oppressed and be with the oppressing and those who are caught in the midst of conflict. Be with the crew members on this evening and be with the drivers. Give them clarity of vision, give them courage, keep them safe. And dear Lord, we ask two things in the spirit of sportsmanship. Keep the track dry and let the cars fly. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, Melissa Tenbrook.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets reclaimed, their bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And on this Independence Weekend, we salute all of those men and women in uniform serving to protect our freedoms that this country enjoys. Everywhere around the world they are. So we are getting ready to go racing here at Daytona. A couple more guys to talk about before they fire them up. Joey Logano, 2 times a race winner already this year, but he's going to be starting back in 23rd for this one. We'll keep an eye on the 20 car as he tries to come through the field as Logano climbs aboard. How about Brian Vickers?
Yeah, Brian Vickers is always a handful, very fast. He's got a super race car. Didn't qualify that well, but in race trim, he thinks he's going to the front.
And I'll give you Michael Waltrip, 2-time Daytona 500 winner, one of the best at drafting. He's got to do a lot of that. He's starting 34th here tonight. The engines fire at Daytona next.
NASCAR Nationwide Series Subway Jalapeno 250 at Daytona International Speedway is presented by Subway, home of the famous $5 footlong. Subway, eat fresh. And in part by Nationwide Insurance, official auto insurance partner of NASCAR. And Holiday Inn Racing, always stay under green.
As the drivers buckle in, the pit crews, you're getting ready to go. Their final instructions. Boy, they're so critical to a driver's success tonight as they go through their final pre-race rituals before jumping into action here at Daytona International Speedway. Let's go back to pit road. Dave?
Well, Alan, these crews are anticipating the start of this race right now, and they go through their various routines and rituals to get here. It's actually a little bit relaxed right now, but the main thing they have to keep in mind is the preparation they've done over the last couple of days. It's been very hot down here, sunny almost all the day during both of the days down here, and if they didn't do one thing ahead of time, they're going to be in big trouble. Hydration. It's key down here in Florida, and they have to have done it ahead of time, or it's going to bite them tonight. Alan?
All right, David, thank you. And one of the crew members getting ready to go is a local native carrying one of our crew cams tonight, Richard Puddin Coleman from Orlando, Florida. He is the rear tire carrier for Jason Leffler's team, and we will see and hear from Puddin throughout the night here at the beach. Got a strong field. Where's Puddin? Is he here? There he is. We knew you were getting ready to go. I guess I was just a lap ahead of the field. All right, strong field ready to go. The crews are getting ready. Our boys in the booth are ready as well. We head upstairs where Dale Jarrett's joined Andy Petrie and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you, Alan. You know, folks, typically in a restrictor plate race, the field stays all bunched up here throughout much of the night. Now, early on tonight, there are some new faces starting toward the front, guys. What does that mean?
Well, with this impound, we always see some guys that don't normally qualify up front that had to make the race on time in with the other guys that we see normally up there. Kyle Busch is starting back in 19th. He's got some guys that aren't so familiar in front of him. Is he going to be patient like he was last week and let the race come to him? It'll be interesting to watch.
Well, you know what it is going to do? It's going to be an opportunity for some guys to get up front and actually race for the lead and to be competitive for the win. I mean, they think they can have a shot here to actually win this race, and these are guys that we're not used to seeing up there. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Now, the rain this afternoon has washed quite a bit of the rubber off the racetrack. How will that impact the race and the race strategy tonight?
Well, this old racetrack is really hard on tires, and we've seen in the Cup Series they've had a few issues with tires. Although they do run a different right side tire over there, we may see a little bit of extra tire wear because the rubber's gone, and this track's just tough on tires. So we'll be watching for that, and especially in the early laps.
There are a lot of unknowns early on tonight. Tire wear because of the rain shower in the afternoon. Some of the unknowns, some of the fresher faces toward the front of the field. And what about those double file restarts, shootout style? That should be fun to watch. Drivers are strapped in as we get set to go trackside to get the command.
Race fans, it's time for the most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome the Subway guy, Jared Fogle.
All right, everybody, this stands here in Daytona. I need your help. Gentlemen, start your engines!
Crank it up. Sounds good.
I actually was testing my radio. You can fire it up when you want. I'm trying to, one of my radios is not working.
I guess I'll leave it on.
Yeah, 470, there you go.
Engines have fired and the field is just about set to roll. When we return, we'll visit with a 5-time Daytona winner in the Nationwide Series. The driver of the Fastenal Chevrolet, Dale Earnhardt Jr., joins us as our in-race reporter in just a moment. It is the summer sizzle Daytona style as rabid race fans have once again flocked here on the 4th of July weekend to watch the current and future stars of NASCAR compete on the high banks. We welcome you to our live ESPN coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series Subway Jalapeno 250. You know, when it comes to Daytona, there is a fine line between winning and losing. For more on those lines, here's Mike Massaro.
Well, Doc, one line these drivers need to be very conscious of is the line they're running. The last place they want to be is on the outside groove when they're trying to make their way to pit road. Once they do make their way to the bottom of the racetrack, another line they need to be concerned with is the commitment line. These drivers need to be sure to give themselves enough time to decelerate from speeds around 180 miles per hour to pit road speed at 55 miles per hour. The last thing they want to do is lock up the brakes, flat spot these tires, because that can easily turn a planned 2-tire stop into an unplanned 4-tire stop. Jamie?
Well, Mike, once the driver does his part, it's up to the crew to hit their marks and execute a perfect pit stop. That's right, there's more than just the driver in order to win. It's a 9-man operation. Aside from the 7 over-the-wall guys and the driver, the crew chief has to have the best strategy. It's a team effort here, and the bottom line is the race can be won and lost between the lines on pit road. Shannon Spank?
Well, you just heard Jamie Little use the word race in her report, and you'll hear us say several times over the course of the evening, the race off pit road. And yes, while you do want to be the first car off pit road, the word race is a little deceiving, and because there is a speed limit on pit road, it's 55 miles per hour. NASCAR does give you a buffer of 5 miles per hour, but it's the driver's responsibility not to go over the limit. If they do, they will be penalized. So while there are many lines around this racetrack, the line off pit road is the one where you can earn the most or lose the most here at this racetrack. Dave Burns?
Double file restart shootout style. We've been talking about them, and it's going to change the way that you watch the 2 lines of cars on every single restart. It's also going to change the way that pit crews and crew chiefs think about their pit strategy, including our in-race reporter crew chief, Brian Campy. He and others told me that they've been watching replays of the Cup races this week where they've already implemented that procedure. They want to make sure by talking to Cup crew chiefs and Cup drivers that they don't miss anything that might hurt them. They also want to take advantage of anything that the new procedure might offer them. So, what do the drivers think about this type of thing? Let's go to our in-race reporter with our Dale. And Dale Jarrett, I understand one of our mailbag questions is about just that.
That's right, Dave. Hey, Dale Jr., Dale Jarrett with ESPN. You have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Junior, our first question comes from our ESPN mailbag, and Susan from Newington, Connecticut would like to know, how will the double file restarts affect your strategy in this race?
Well, I mean, you can't really have any strategy. You just got to go. You can't, you want to lead. Maybe lead is the best place to be. I think on a restart, the first guy on the inside has probably the best position, although the outside's not too bad. The further back you go on the inside line, I think the more challenging it gets. You're just boxing yourself in there. As we've seen since we've had the double file restarts in the COT, the outside line's been the best to make positions on restarts.
All right, man, my question for you is this. You've got 12 wins at Daytona in NASCAR competition, so who better to ask than, if we could put you in the perfect position on the last lap, and I know you've got a whole race to run to get there, what position do you want to be in and why?
Well, whatever position you're in, I think leading, second, third, it can be won from basically anywhere. We've seen that, especially here lately. You just got to have help. You know, you got to have people willing to help you, that'll give you the right help at the right time. And if they're not willing to help you, you're going to have a hard time winning a race.
All right, Junior, thanks for talking with us. Have a great race. Now, Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Brian Campy.
Hey, Brian, Andy Petrie in the booth. You have us?
10-4, Andy, I got you.
Hey, Brian, I know you've been monitoring the tire wear closely, and we've seen a couple of issues over in the Cup Garage with the tires, and we had a little rain out here on the racetrack since qualifying. What do you expect out of the tires tonight?
I think on our first stop, we'll see a little bit what we saw in the first practice, a little bit of issue, but it'll go away once we get all these 43 cars around here and get some rubber down. We'll be okay.
And now with these rules that NASCAR's put in place, how do you actually adjust your car to get the balance right? They tell you what springs, shocks, and everything else to run. How do you change it?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I may ask you up in the booth for a little bit of help, but yeah, the front spring rule, the rear spring rule, the rear shock rule, the restrictor plate, it makes the box really small, but the guys at the shop work it real hard, working within the rules and making the car fast.
Okay, Brian, you guys have good luck and appreciate you talking to us tonight.
You too, Andy. Thank you.
Well, the double file restart is not the only first here tonight, because reigning series champion Clint Boyer picked up his first pole of the season, and maybe more importantly to him, his very first ever pole here at Daytona. And oh, by the way, he has never won a restrictor plate race in Nationwide or Sprint Cup competition. Maybe that will change here tonight. Take a look at our starting field. A few surprises in qualifying. David Gilliland qualified Evander Holyfield's Dodge 5th, and 67-year-old Morgan Shepherd. How about that? Morgan Shepherd, a 15-time winner, qualified in the 10th spot. We'll have onboard cameras in 9 different cars tonight, including the Daytona 500 winner, Matt Kenseth, who starts back in 6th position, and Carl Edwards, who finished 2nd here back in February, starts 11th. And by the way, Carl also has not won on a restrictor plate racetrack. Our race analysis, it is a 100-lap, 250-mile race here tonight on the high banks of Daytona. And you see the pit road speed 55, pace car will run 70. And Andy, on a tank of Sunoco, you can almost go halfway.
Well, you can, and it's 45 to 50 is what we have for a window. This first run, you won't see them go quite that far because they've run a qualifying run, and you know, just these pace laps right here. You see them making these pace laps. Those laps don't count, so but they do count when you start pulling fuel out of that tank.
Here's the 6th car, David Reagan, last time on a Speedway. Remember, he won at Talladega.
Like I told you guys in the meeting, you're over the wall, guys. Nice and smooth tonight. I'm very appreciative for every one of you and what you do for me. You got to get it in the hole, nice and smooth. Stay off those fenders. We'll take care of it from here. David, just let us know what we need for updates on keeping the car rolling good. And Toby, it's your night to shine, man. Do us good up there, okay, bud?
Folks, they are lined up 2 by 2 for the start, and every time we restart tonight, they will look just like this. All the leaders side by side up front for a double file restart shootout style. And Dale, we're just sitting here talking a little bit ago. How much would Dale Earnhardt Sr. have loved this procedure?
Oh, he'd have loved it. He'd have liked to have been back there about 3rd, 4th, 5th. Andy, you know how he was whenever you were working for him. He'd have loved this. This would have been right up his alley. He'd just been excited. He loved racing here, but this would add a little more excitement.
I loved it when we could put him right in the middle of a pack because he would always come squirting out the head of it. So, yeah, he would love these kind of restarts.
A star-studded field featuring some of the sport's biggest names and, of course, some of its brightest new stars. Dale Earnhardt Jr., you look at some of the guys here, if they get ready to race at Daytona, thinking about what this night could mean.
Yeah, this is as calm as they're going to be right now. It's going to get pretty exciting and intense for 100 laps. There's just never any time to relax once we get started here.
Nothing more patriotic on a July 4th weekend than the grandstands full of flag-waving race fans. NASCAR fans on their feet getting set for what should be an exciting night of racing here at Daytona. Remember, the last 4 July races here, we have had green, white, checkered flag finishes, and what a wild finish we had here in February.
That was an incredible finish. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody hold on to a race car like Tony Stewart did to win that one.
It'll be interesting to see if Kyle Busch gets in that same situation. Does he have a new strategy that he's going to try to employ to pass the leader there?
Well, he doesn't have to do it on Tony Stewart tonight, so it might work.
Front row, it is Chevrolet and Ford. Clint Boyer for Richard Childress Racing. They have not gone to victory lane in this series in over a year. As the pace car pulls away, folks, glad to have you with us here at Daytona for fast cars and fireworks, NASCAR style. Side by side, they unload off the 31-degree banks of turn 2. Looks like a 170-mile-per-hour pace lap.
Yeah, I was going to say this initial start might give us some idea of what the leader may choose, but they're still side by side as they go down into turn 3. So I don't know that there's really an advantage. We see now the inside line gets a little bit of an advantage as they get to turn 3. Clint Boyer out front.
Yeah, it looked like David Reagan was keeping pace on the outside till they hit turn 3. You see that double yellow line as they come off of turn 4. That is the out-of-bounds line that you do not go below to advance your position. And if you do, NASCAR will call you on pit road. If you go below that line and don't advance your position, give it back, you can stay out without penalty.
Matt Kenseth, you see looking back at Matt in a 16 car from Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s onboard camera.
We can see from that shot just how bumpy and wavy the track is.
Let's look in here and we see the 99 car of Michael Waltrip is going to be a part of this mix in just a second. He has come from a long way back to be a part of this lead group.
Look at this battle, this gaggle of cars back. Oh, it was a 27 car of Jason Keller up there right in front of Vickers, and there's the 99 you were talking about, Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, he's already gained 11 spots.
He's up there now with Brian Vickers and also Mike Bliss behind him, so he's got some good drafting partners right there. See Casey Kane in that group.
That's Casey Kane on the left you're talking about on the 10 car.
You see here, they're staying flat on the throttle as they go in the corner. They don't back off at all. Now, you might see them feather that throttle once the tires get a little bit of heat in them and get worn down a little bit, but right now, and it's just flat on the floor.
The outside line now coming back, DJ.
Gillen.
Yeah, this is what we're going to see all night. This is David Gillen trying to take the lead in the 42 car. He told us after qualifying he had a really good car in the draft. He was excited about his chances.
That is a Dodge, by the way. That 42 up there in Dodge has never won a nationwide race here at Daytona. How big would that be for David Gillen of Vander Holyfield and Eddie Smith?
Be something to see Vander Holyfield in victory lane.
There's Michael Waltrip in the 99 car, and he is on the move now. Goes to the bottom of the racetrack and squeezes in front of Donnie Neuenberger.
We talked during qualifying about how aggressive Michael can get in these type situations. He doesn't waste any time. You give him a small hole, and he's going to make a little bit of room on his own. See him making more passes. Whoa.
Okay, you see some guys going below that line now. If they advance their position, they'll be penalized. Looks like everybody gets back in line.
Yeah, and they were basically just protecting their position there. If you're down there, you obviously can't get to the inside of you, so they were just protecting that. This thing's kind of stacked up.
See a lot of new paint schemes up front, jockeying for position. There's Morgan Shepherd now getting passed by Stephen Wallace.
Riding along with Justin Allgaier, the rookie, looking back at Stephen Wallace, and as they go by Morgan Shepherd. That is 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. It can get hairy in a hurry. Oh, watch the contact right there on the 27.
Wow, talk about aggressive. Right there was a hole that wasn't.
Wow, that's why everybody was scattered.
Right along with Allgaier right here.
Stacking up on the top.
Big time bump draft right there. That should have been a wreck.
Three wide, bud.
One of those situations that, as you said, should have been a wreck, should have been one of those big ones that we talk about all the time, but the guys did a great job.
Clint Boyer's able to hang on to this lead. See Dale Jr. back there now making a charge.
Yeah, that's got the fans on their feet here. They see him in second.
And there's Michael Annette, the rookie down on the inside, taking the third spot. 5 laps complete here in the Subway Jalapeno 250, powered by Coca-Cola.
I'm Jay Harris. Here's what's happening on SportsCenter right now. Wimbledon today. Roger Federer beat Tommy Haas in straight sets on center court. Federer's 7th consecutive Wimbledon final is his 20th career appearance in the finals of a major. Federer will face Andy Roddick in the final. Roddick beat Andy Murray in 4 sets. This will be Roddick's 3rd Wimbledon final. He lost to Federer in his previous 2 appearances. Phil Jackson will be back in L.A. to defend the title. Phil issuing a statement today on the Lakers website confirming he will be back to complete the final season of his contract. These stories, Tiger and Manny's return tonight on SportsCenter.
A 15-car draft up front here in the Subway Jalapeno 250 at Daytona, and somehow Clint Boyer has withstood the attack now the last couple laps from Dale Earnhardt Jr., Brad Keselowski, and Carl Edwards.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how Brad Keselowski didn't see the boss man up in the high lane and help him try to get this lead. Look here, 3 wide. Little bump draft right there from Kenseth to Carl Edwards, his teammate.
That is Kyle Busch in the meat of the sandwich, and Kerry Earnhardt's car spinning around down on the grass.
Oh, got another car torn up here. Well, it might be Nuremberger car, or Donnie Nuremberger's car, the 52. He's got some heavy damage in the front.
Yeah, that's a Jimmy Means old car. So caution number 1 here. Lap number 9.
Whoa, we're going by him and he just turned into us.
If we can show you what happened, there's Kerry Earnhardt's car slowing down. Nuremberger, the 52, Earnhardt, the 31.
Yeah, it looks like Nuremberger just went up the racetrack, got into Kerry Earnhardt.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to be able to make a pass, but as what happens a lot there, you lose the front end of the car. You don't have all your aero because you're around traffic there. You just lose the front end, and that got him up into the 31 here. He just ran Kerry Earnhardt out of racing room.
There you see Chase Austin, nowhere to go. He's just a victim of this. Chase Austin in that 07 car.
So they're running about 19th, 20th, and 21st, and there's the contact in turn 4 as they bounce the 31 off the wall and back into the 52.
From Justin Allgaier's view right here, things happening in a hurry right in front of him.
Michael McDowell does a great job.
Yeah.
I missed that.
All clear right there. Great job, man.
Heavy damage on the front of the Jimmy Means owned Chevy. They will head to the garage area, and there's a scraped up side of Kerry Earnhardt's Chevy.
They've only run 10 laps. I don't know if the leaders will come down this early. You see some of the crews getting ready. It'll be kind of a follow the leader type thing. If the leaders come down, you'll see a lot of cars come, but if they don't, you'll see a few from the, say, the back half of the field take an opportunity maybe to come in and work on their car.
When we go back to green, it's going to be just like the start of the race again. We don't have anybody lapped down or anything, so none of that's factoring in other than the cars that were involved in the accident.
The only thing right now, I wouldn't worry too much about giving up track position to make the pit stop. I would just worry about using all my tires up. If it's going to be one of those nights where you're going to need a lot of tires, you hate to give up a set that's only got 10 laps on them here, but looks like they're coming.
Well, they got a commitment call. Will they stay or will they go?
They're coming. They're coming.
Here they come, and Boyer will lead them down at 55 miles an hour. Lap 11. Let's go down to the pits and Mike Massaro.
And Brad Keselowski making his top, came in very hot into his pit stall. They'll have to back him up. He overshot his stall, and that's going to cost him. They were looking for a 2-tire stop. This will cost him some serious track position, Shannon.
That ain't Mike Kyle Busch in that 18 car. They told him not to slide the tires. It's going to be 2 tires, 4 tires. It's an audible by Jason Ratcliffe on top of the pit box. They're tight and loose. Dave?
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car is tight. They make an air pressure adjustment for that and 4 tires. Meanwhile, leader Clint Boyer is on pit road as well. His car was loose. They didn't want to take a chance at all, so they came down pit road for 4 tires and lessened the air pressure in that right rear tire. That should help it.
Boy, what a scramble on and off of pit road. You saw Carl Edwards' car sideways. Clint Boyer losing 4 positions and Keller up 10 spots. So first pit stop under the new ruling, and we come back, we'll line them up side by side for double file restart shootout style. Back at Daytona, we were under caution for the first time tonight here in the Subway Jalapeno 250. Contact on the racetrack between Kerry Earnhardt and the 52 of Donnie Neuenberger. There is the 88 car of Brad Keselowski. And they had some issues coming in for the first stop of the night.
They were coming in, going to get 2 tires and try to get back out. Let's see how he slides through this pit stall. Not good for those left side tires. They back up here, and they end up getting 4 tires, but losing a lot of track position.
Yeah, that's the driver just jacked up. His car's running good. He's going to try to help his pit crew out. Going to get 2 tires. He knows he might go back out in the lead, but a little too excited there.
Let's listen to his radio.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, that left front was smoking like hell all the way down through there, so that's why I put 4 on. Oh, no, you did the right thing, man. That's my bad. I tried slowing down really early. It just started sliding. I couldn't stop it.
Now, he was 3rd when he came into the pits, and because of that incident, he's now being shown in 13th position. Now, the 27 car gained 10 spots on pit road. That is Jason Keller. And a little bit of strategy early on, fuel only on that car.
It's going to be interesting to see, even though they only ran 10 laps of green, but how this works out with all this going on with the double file restart.
Well, we're going to find out about the double file restart when we come back, as one car stayed on the racetrack. John West Townley back with the restart in just a moment. Back at Daytona, aerial coverage provided by our good friends at Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. New Fuel Max tires help you have a winning fuel strategy. And from high above, you can see that there are 40 cars on the lead lap, and they have lined up 2 by 2 for the double file restart shootout style. First time ever in the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
Yeah. Couldn't be at a more exciting place. This stuff's always exciting anyway, and now we've got just like the start of the race every time.
And Matt Kenseth has chosen the inside lane as the leader. See how it works out for him right here. Looks like it worked pretty good on the start. The inside lane looked to be the best.
I think that'll be the choice most of the time for some reason. For about 2 or 3 laps, that seems to be the best line. Here we go.
See Jason Keller in that 27 car. He only got fuel on that last pit stop. We'll see how that strategy works out.
Yeah, I like 4 tires here anytime I come down pit road most of the time.
Couple of Roush Fenway teammates side by side. Reagan has the high line. Kenseth hugging that double yellow line on the bottom of the racetrack, now pulling by a couple of car lengths over in turn 2.
And Michael Annett, the second place car in the 15, he got right side tires on that last pit stop. He knows how to win here. He's won an ARCA race here.
Yeah, and he was really good in practice yesterday in the drafting that they did there. You can see him right up there in the middle of it. He liked the way that his race car was driving in the draft. Here comes the outside line back a little bit. Jason Keller gave David Reagan a pretty good push, but now Reagan doesn't have any help.
And now those tires on Keller creating an issue back there. Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to go around him in the middle line, and he will take Joey Logano and Carl Edwards with him.
Up front, we still got David Reagan fighting hard on the outside with basically no help. He's got some coming with Dale Jr. if he can wait for about a quarter of a lap. Yeah, maybe less.
Here he comes. Strong race car right there, but Junior's not going to wait around. Oh, hell, man.
Michael Annett goes all the way up across the racetrack and stacks him up behind him.
Looked like he was going to try to pull down in front of Junior, and Junior just had too big a run coming.
Boy, Casey Kane did a heck of a job to be able to hang on. He got tapped from behind, and now the 15.
Something's wrong here.
Yeah,
he may have something wrong. Looks like he's got a flat left front.
Stay on the track, though. Stay on the track.
He's made contact during that, and looks like the left front tire's down.
So he will have to come on pit road for an unscheduled stop. Let's see if we can see where the contact, who he got into with that left front.
You can see right here, Dale Jr.'s got a big run coming right here, but he gets some contact, look like from Boyer, and then that puts him up in front of Junior. I don't think he drove up in front of Junior. I think he got forced up there.
That's right. Yeah, you get that big push, you just can't turn the steering wheel when you get this going. If you do, you're going to spin out.
So back up front, it is Matt Kenseth, Clint Boyer, David Reagan, Carl Edwards, and now Kyle Busch has climbed all the way to 5th.
There's a little help right there.
That's the way you do it. You do it on the straightaway. Leave a little gap getting in the corner.
And you don't want to hit him too hard to send him too far out in front there, because all that does is negate what you're trying to do, and that's to try to go faster.
Watching for Boyer to make a move down on the inside, and Kenseth holds the bottom lane. Matt Kenseth, who won here back in February in the Daytona 500 in a backup car from 39th starting spot. He can get it done on his super speedway.
He sure can, but he's got a guy in second place that wants to lead this race. Clint Boyer has a fast car. He led a lot here back in February, and he wants to put it back up front. His problem is the guy that's right behind him that could help him pass the leader is the leader's teammate, so I'm not sure how much help he's going to get there.
See Brian Vickers now making a move on the outside to get 2 lanes going with Harvick. Looking like he's going to go up there and help.
Brian Vickers started back in 26th position. He qualified very poorly in February and ran in the top 5 most of the night and finished 6th.
Yeah, it looked like Junior was wanting to stay with Harvick right there, maybe help push Vickers, but he kind of got forced to the inside and in that line.
Yeah, you see that tire from the 15 car. What happened to that tire, Dave?
They're still looking for the smallest of little pinholes or something that might have caused the damage on this. But think about this, guys. That's the risk you take when you only change 2 tires on the pit stop. This is the left front. They changed only right side tires.
Yeah, you got to understand, they ran through debris over there off of turn 2 where the accident happened. So when that is a chance that you take whenever you come down pit road and either take no tires or just 2.
That was a great point, Dave. He could have slid that tire coming down and didn't change 4 like we saw the 88 car do, and had a problem with it.
Great side-by-side action for 7th spot. The 47 car right side of your screen, Michael McDowell and Brian Vickers. Now McDowell is a rookie. Not only is he driving to get a top 5 finish, he's trying to hang on to that ride. They are out of money, and this will be his last race unless he can have an impressive finish tonight and get someone to jump on as a sponsor before Chicago next week.
Yeah, they have to have some money before they're going to show up next week. So the funds have run out with that race team and with the sponsorship that they had. Here 16 or this 17th race is the last one that they could take on with the monies that dollars that they had to spend.
You see how well organized this draft is up front, and as long as they stay that way through the first 5 or 6, it's hard for that outside lane to develop. You have to have somebody get impatient up there in the first 5 or 6 to help that. Now you see some guys starting to try to get impatient, and I'll tell you that 33 car looks really good out there, Shannon.
Well, the 33 car of Kevin Harvick was a little bit loose on that last pit stop. They took 4 tires, a track bar adjustment, and some air. But the problem that Kevin Harvick most recently said on the radio was that he thinks he has some back bumper damage on the right side. They're trying to check it out on the television screen right now, but they are concerned that there might be some damage on that 33 car, obviously from some rough bump drafting out there, guys.
I think that might get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, that was really close, and I'm not sure if Brad Keselowski has any right front damage. No, that was awful close. It threw the tri-oval as they passed a lap car, and then as he went into turn 1, he was still trying to get in line. It looked like he might have had a little bit of damage, but
I think Harvick's car is okay. I didn't see any damage from that shot. No, that's going to hurt him any.
So Harvick able to dodge the bullets here, move all the way up to 8th position. That's Allgaier behind him. Let's see if Kevin Harvick can make a charge on McDowell for 7th.
He's out there trying to do it on his own. He's not getting a lot of help. He's got Allgaier now looking up there behind him to try to help push him along. And I think if Vickers could get up there, the 32 car's been strong. They can start getting something going on that outside lane.
Yeah, Harvick has a strong car, and that's the thing about this aero package too. You don't have to have help. It makes passing somebody easier, but if you get them set up and get that run and make your move at the right time, you can go by, as you saw, the 33 and the 12 both go by the 47.
23 laps in the books here at Daytona of 100. Matt Kenseth is our leader. Clint Boyer is 2nd. David Reagan 3rd. Carl Edwards 4th. And Kyle Busch is 5th. So 3 Roush Fenway cars in the top 5. Back with more of the Subway Jalapeno 250 in a moment.
ESPN delivers 2 nights of Major League Baseball action. 8 Eastern on Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. The Tampa Bay Rays take on the Texas Rangers. Then on Monday Night Baseball, presented by Holiday Inn at 7 Eastern, the Braves take on the Cubs. Major League Baseball on ESPN at ESPN 360 Sunday and Monday. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Watching the Holiday Inn car driven by Clint Boyer being challenged for second spot. As our Holiday Inn race summary tells us, Boyer led through the first caution after starting on the pole. Then after a little pit strategy, Matt Kenseth went out front. He has held the lead since then. And now we have 3 Roush Fenway cars running in the top 3 positions. Boyer left to fight for the 4th spot and 5th positions with Kyle Busch there after again leading the opening segment of the race. Just 1 caution so far, and on the lead lap, 38 of the 43 starters. Our Nationwide Insurance Up to Speed begins in the race leaders pit with Mike Massaro.
And Alan, with 3 Roush Fenway cars up front, that's a little bit different strategy than we've seen from that organization in the past at restrictor plate tracks. In fact, I spoke with Matt Kenseth about their history of hanging back, trying to wait for the big wreck to happen and then making a late charge. I asked him if that was his plan tonight. He just kind of grimaced and said, no, I hate doing that. I want to be up front. I want to put on a show. That's what he's doing right now, Jamie.
Behind him is David Reagan in the 6th car. Now, they qualified second, did not expect to do this well. Now, the funny thing about this car, since 2004, it was a show car on the road for people to look at. Well, they put it into race rotation in 2007. David finished 4th at Talladega and won this year with the car. Continues to surprise. They took right sides only, and that got the track position. Dave?
It's interesting what Mike said about that Roush strategy. Carl Edwards at the beginning of this race reminded his guys, hey, let's play everything safe today, on the track, in the pits, etc. You know, sometimes running up front with all your teammates is the safest place to be. Shannon?
Dave, Kyle Busch started this race 19th, started the run. He was loose and tight. How are you loose and tight? Well, he was loose on the top of the racetrack, tight on the bottom. He came down pit road. He was going to take 2 tires, but because he slid the tires coming into the pit box, it wasn't audible. The balance is definitely coming to Kyle Busch, but he wants to get to the front. He says that is the safest place on this racetrack. Dave?
Justin Allgaier right behind him in that 12 car coming off a corner just like that. Little wiggle right there. His car had been loose off the corners, and so they made an air pressure adjustment for him to try to get him a little more drivability. Now down below him in that 5 car is Dale Earnhardt Jr. His car was tight on that first run. Since then, he's radioed in that he doesn't have enough front grip in that car, and that's causing him not to be able to put it exactly where he wants to. Guys?
What a great action up front. How about the rookie we're talking about, Justin Allgaier? He's come from 31st in that 12 car to 5th, and he has got a rocket.
We were talking about a while ago, Dale, and I said he's got a rocket ship if he can hang on to it.
Yeah, he's had that thing hung out and in some spots a few times, but he has a fast race car. Let's see if he's learned enough in his short amount of time running these type of races and these type of cars to know what to do with it.
It's like Kyle Busch is getting a little impatient behind the Roush cars and looking for some help to try to get up and maybe challenge for this lead. I think if you can see Allgaier get there, Kyle Busch will pull up with him.
It's got to be a whole totally different feel. You're talking about Clint Boyer there and Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kyle Busch. A different aero package and even not even close to what they run in the Sprint Cup car here tomorrow night.
Yeah, nothing close. And there's a lot of different things you can do as a driver with this package. You know, you can really get a draft pull, and you can really push a lot harder with these things too. You can't run into the back quite as hard because the bumpers don't line up quite as good as they do on the Cup cars, but you can still do a lot of pushing and shoving.
Those Roush cars shuffled Clint Boyer in this 29, but he's making a move back to the front. He cut right in front of Dale Jr. getting into 3 the last lap.
6 wants to stay in line right now. The last time by, he looked out. He's got the 60 behind him, though, so that's 3 Roush cars right there. You're in the sandwich.
That's why I didn't try to go around Kansas here.
10-4.
So although he is outnumbered, Clint Boyer said there's no way I'm going to give up. I just got to catch Kenseth and get back around him.
A pretty strong move right there. He passed Kyle Busch by himself. No help there. This is a fast race car. He pushed a little bit coming out of turn 2 a while ago, and that allowed David Reagan and Carl Edwards and these guys to go by him, but he's fought his way back with no help.
And now he's got some help behind him with Kyle Busch. Maybe they'll try this outside lane here, getting in the corner and try to get by these guys.
They're going to try somewhere because
side by side.
Yeah, David Reagan has gone to the outside to try to get around his teammate Kenseth, and now he'll get some drafting help from Clint Boyer to maybe push him by.
So much of that organized draft up front. I knew they'd get impatient.
So the 6 on the high side and the 16 down low. Remember what happened at Talladega when the 6 got in the back of the 16 and end up sending Kenseth tumbling side over side? That left some ill will there with a couple of those guys.
Yeah, Kenseth might be glad that he's beside him instead of behind him right now. So.
And David Reagan would go on to win the race there. So here's Kenseth down the low line again, reasserts itself, and Kenseth pulls away by a couple of car lengths.
Yeah, once again, we see that 12 car in the middle of all of this. You can see that 4th car in line on the inside. These guys tried to make that high line work. Clint Boyer had moved up to the 4th spot. Now you see he's falling back as he tried to help David Reagan go up and take the lead, but that didn't work.
So it is Kenseth, Edwards, Kyle Busch, and what about if you're Justin Allgaier and you're riding behind Kyle Busch and in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. as a rookie at Daytona? Kyle Busch has just become the 5th different leader tonight in the Subway Jalapeno 250 here at Daytona. Busch able to make a move on Matt Kenseth, and that slid him back to 5th position, and now the rookie on the 12 car moving in on Kyle Busch to try to see if he can lead his first ever lap at Daytona.
I think Allgaier has every bit as good a car as Kyle Busch, maybe better, and he can learn a lot right here at this point of the race to run right behind him.
Let's update Kyle Busch. Shannon.
Right now, Kyle Busch's car is so loose, but right out front, that's where he likes to be. I told you guys earlier, he feels that that's the safest place on the racetrack here at a restrictor plate track. Speaking about Joe Gibbs Racing, they are so dominant everywhere they go. Something interesting is that once they get past February, the race here in February, they don't do any other work to their restrictor plate program. All of their work, all of their R&D for this track is done before the season. So right now, they're running off of information that they had back in February. Dave?
Justin Allgaier trying to hold down the 2nd position there in that black 12 car. Chad Walter, his crew chief, said, you know, he tends to be more tentative on these tracks in practice and qualifying, but he's smart, so we never really know what he has until the race. Then he comes alive. I guess this, running 2nd, is coming alive. Jamie?
Well, Dave, the guy who was running 2nd is David Reagan. There was a reason why he jumped out of line and went high. He said he was so loose on that bottom line, it was ruining his tires. So he moved up, got out of the draft, got shuffled back. Now he has to just sit and be patient and wait for his teammate, Carl Edwards, who's up behind him in the 60. Mike?
And Jamie, Matt Kenseth had the lead car, but just as was the case during the first run before his first stop, his car continuously got loose on exit, and that's been the case here. After the first stop, they had to make a track bar adjustment. It corrected it temporarily, but he's right back to where he was before that first pit stop, Doc.
And right behind this group, guys that have come from the back of the pack, Michael Waltrip started 30th in the 99 car, and beside him, Brian Vickers started 26th, and they are now running in 9th and 10th position.
Yeah, doing a great job coming up through there. But, Andy, one thing that I'm hearing here that's not characteristic of Daytona in years past is most of the time after you run some laps, the cars really get tight. We hear a lot of these guys talking about going to the loose side.
I know. You see how loose they are. They look out of control, almost all of them. Even the guys that took 4 tires. You're seeing, you know, Matt Kenseth all over the place. And now you got a big race for the lead, or for the 3rd spot right here, 3 wide.
Clint Boyer went underneath the rookie of Allgaier, and now Allgaier is stuck in the middle. He's the meat in the sandwich.
DJ, I've got a question for you. As you see Dale Jr. there, he's getting a pretty good run. If he gets up to Kyle Busch, knowing the relationship between these two guys, it's being a little bit testy, do you think they work together and try to pull away from the field?
Yeah, even with that, I think so. So you have to put that aside, and you remember that at the end of the race. Okay. At this portion, if you can hook up with somebody, even though he's a guy that you might have a few different feelings about, you're going to try to get away and make life a little bit easier for yourself. But if that happens towards the end of the race, no love lost there. I think we could see something pretty exciting happen, Brad.
Hey, one thing I've seen about these drivers, they'll do whatever it takes to help themselves. If that'll help him, he'll do it.
Guys moving in on Carl Edwards there. Carl in the 60 car right behind Michael Waltrip. They are 7th, 8th, and 9th position.
Man, these cars look like a handful to drive.
Between the aero package and the way that they run these chassis now and the roughness of this racetrack, it makes these cars very difficult. They're not quite as bad because they have a little more downforce than what their cup cars do, but the way these cars bounce around, it makes them very difficult to drive, and they have to run them so loose to get any speed out of them.
Yeah, we saw early in the race when the track was green and the tires were good, we could see them running just flat out wide open, and I've heard some of the in cars, some of these guys are pedaling that gas pedal, getting in the corner now.
Carl Edwards back on the inside of Allgaier, trying to take that spot away. That would be 7th position, and behind him, Matt Kenseth. Look at Matt way up across the racetrack within about a half a foot of the wall.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to be up there.
No, that's not by choice. His car's gotten so loose, and that's where you kind of have to go to turn the steering wheel less. And let's watch his throttle here and see. Now, he's going through the tri-oval right here. Of course, he's going to be wide open there. And let's watch him as he gets down to turn 1 if he's having to come out of the throttle because he's loose getting into the corner.
Like he's able to stay wide open getting into 1.
Yeah. Now, he goes down to more towards the bottom that time.
Up ahead, a challenge, 2nd position, Earnhardt Jr. and Clint Boyer, and Jr. will take the spot away.
Yeah, Boyer was trying to make a pass on Kyle Busch, but Jr. hasn't taken that spot away. That 29 car is strong at the end of the straightaway.
Boyer getting a little drafting help from David Reagan from behind, and Jr. up high doesn't have a lot of help from until they get back about 4 or 5 more car lengths.
Well, they do this. They each get kind of big pushes, and then that kind of separates them, and then all they do is push you to that bumper, and then you don't have the help to make the pass. Plus, a lot of these guys are still trying to figure out exactly what, trying to make that outside work and see what they can do. All of this is just kind of positioning and learning for the end of the race because they know when it gets down in those last 10 laps that they're going to need to know exactly what their car will do in certain situations.
The 5 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. showing in 5th position, but he is yet to lead a lap tonight. Dave.
But Doc, as we know at these restrictor, the pedal and how it hits the bottom of his right foot is very important. Engine tuner Howard Shipwash, who you see right here, is responsible for that pedal and met with Junior on Monday at the shop to make sure it was right. It was not. While Junior waited, Howard made a new pedal assembly to get the feel Junior wants in that pedal, and Junior left the shop happy. Tim Brewer stands by in our Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim, how can a little thing like the shape of a pedal or how it sits be so important to these guys at this track?
Everything's important, Dave, to a driver's comfort in the car. But like you said, when you're on the gas pedal, folks, you don't want that foot always stretched out. So you basically put a curvature in the gas pedal. So when the gas pedal's all the way down on the floor, you've got an idea that the guy's comfortable. But the bad thing about it is when he is wide open on the floor and his foot stretched out, that's going to go to sleep. It's very uncomfortable. So what Earnhardt wants to do is basically have his foot in a position to where it's at a normal angle and it's not very disturbing and his foot doesn't go to sleep. And comfort means everything to these race car drivers.
DJ, how about that over the years? And when you got to hold it wide open, that calf muscle can start to quiver about halfway through.
Yeah, you have to get it exactly right, and that was great of Dale Jr. to go by there, and because he hasn't been in that race car and get things right because he knows how important that is. We have a car slow on the track here, John West Townley.
And we are trying to get it started. Say it won't turn over at all. He's on the apron there in turn 4.
Yeah, he should have enough speed to get to pit road. NASCAR.
It's going to take a while, though. He may not get there. He's going extremely slow. I'm not sure he'll make it.
Got 10-4.
We stay green. We've had
that looks like the caution did come out.
Okay,
it looked like he was iffy of making it in.
And you can't have somebody riding there, but the leader's getting ready to come off of turn 4, and if something happens, you can't put someone in that position, even though it looks like he's going to make it to the pit road.
He'd be a sitting duck if they had a crash coming off of that corner, and it'd be a dangerous situation for everybody.
And he will roll his car on the pit road very slowly, but that will bring out caution for the 2nd time tonight.
We are going to be in a situation here with 45 laps complete, Andy, that may be looking at somebody could stretch if we happen to go green.
Boy, you'd have to stretch it a long way to make it under that condition. That's 55 laps from here. It'll be 54 next time by. I haven't talked to anybody that said they could go quite that far.
And our Aaron's lucky dog getting the free pass, Michael Annette in the 15 car. He was the first car a lap down. Remember, he had that cut tire, that shredded tire, I should say, came on the pit road, and the near miss at the front of the field. He will now be able to get back on the lead lap, and that will put 38 cars on the lead lap as we work caution for the 2nd time tonight. Well, they all pitted on lap 11. Are going to be coming back in, and it'll be very interesting. We saw a scramble, not only getting into pits, but trying to get off pit road. See some guys sideways a moment ago trying to get off pit road on that first stop.
Yeah, this is a tough pit road, and obviously you want to get things done in a timely fashion. Everybody's going to be getting 4 tires this time, so that's not going to be a question.
Now we're going to follow Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer, and David Reagan on our triple pits as they come down and try to get 4 tires and see who can get off.
I'm interested to see what Boyer will do. His car's been real loose. It's been extremely fast, but he needs to have that car just a little more stable if he's going to be able to win this thing. So I'll be watching for adjustments there.
Yeah, I think that hurt him back in February. He had a fast race car, but it was just too loose in traffic to try to, once he got back in the pack a little bit, he could get back, but he couldn't get all the way to the front. So let's see if they tighten that thing up.
And we keep an eye on Matt Kenseth, by the way, too. He's in ninth spot coming on the pit road. His team have done an incredible job, the 16 guys with pit stops this year. See if he can gain some spots. 55 miles an hour, second time on pit road tonight. Let's go down to Jamie.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, David Reagan says he's a 3 loose. He just wants a little more grip, tighten him up, air pressure adjustment for the 6 car. Shannon?
Jamie, on that scale, Kyle Busch is a 4 loose on entry and exit. They're going to make a track bar adjustment. Also 4 tires for that 18 car. Dave?
Clint Boyer wants 4 fresh tires. He doesn't want any chassis changes, though. Keep your eyes on that second white line just in front of Clint. That's the race off of pit road that Shannon described in our countdown show. Clint will just have to blip the throttle and take off. He leaves, and he's going to win. He's got full of Sunoco fuel. He'll win the race off pit road. Kyle Busch came out right behind him.
So Boyer gains his spot. Will come off as the first car off pit road. Michael Waltrip's bunch doing a nice job, gaining 3 positions there. And the 33 car still in the pits. Now Kevin Harvick able to put it in gear and pull away. Let's see how close this was coming out of the pits. There is the 29 car of Boyer.
Looked closer than that when they came off of there, but it's the speed difference you see having that first pit stall.
4 laps away from halfway under caution here at Daytona. When we come back, another double file restart. Back at Daytona, lap 47 in the books of 100, just 3 away from halfway point. And we told you at the top of the show, it's a fine line between winning and losing here at Daytona. And sometimes those lines can be issues, not only for drivers, but for crew members. Watch the Kyle Busch stop.
See the right side going pretty smooth. Guys are making a quick pit stop. No problems at all here. The rear tire changer slips coming around. Nice recovery, though. He gets right up, gets back over there to the left. Held him up just a second or so.
Now watch this near miss. There's a Wimmer in the 40 coming in, and there's contact with Dale Earnhart Jr.
That's a near hit. That's what that was. They had to come back down pit road, and now they're down there working on it, trying to get it fixed.
Yeah, that's really where a crew chief has to be telling the driver, because when they drop that, it's hard to be seeing those cars coming with out the back glass.
Now with Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming back in a second time, he's going to have to be at the back of the pack on the restart at back in 31st position. Let's go down to the pit studio now in Bestwick.
All right, Doc, quickly before the restart, a look at our Verizon Wireless race rundown. After the interrupted qualifying of today, Clint Boyer picked up his first career Nationwide Series pole at Daytona, and he led the field to the green flag, led the first 10 laps before a caution and a set of pit stops. At lap 16, Matt Kenseth was the race leader.
Get to see the first double file restart in the Nationwide Series history, and it was stupendous.
There you go. Kenseth led for a bit until Kyle Busch came calling.
Kyle came a knocking. We knew he would. He's put that hot rod up front. He's got a fast race car. Looks like he's going to be the class of the field thus far.
And then our latest lead change just happened now on pit road when Clint Boyer dumped the clutch, and by virtue of winning the pole, had that first pit stall and got to the scoring line first. And so he will bring this field to this green flag. Question is, Doc, did he choose inside lane or outside?
He is going to go on the inside this time behind the Chevy pace car. Clint Boyer has never won, as we mentioned at the top of the show, in a NASCAR Nationwide Series restrictor plate race.
Boy, these things are a handful. I don't know what it looks like on TV, but they're all over the place.
Well, right now, we're the only car that's fell back like that and came back to the front. The rest of them had just been there, but you're able to go back by them. So.
I found a little trick. I'll tell you about it later.
Clint, that's no fun. Tell us now, man.
Well, let's see if he uses that trick now or saves it for late in the race. He pulls away from Kyle Busch. On the inside lane, he's got Carl Edwards in tow.
He has looked like the one guy that could fall back some and come back. He hasn't gotten back to the lead, but he's always been able to fight back to second.
Yeah, that thing has looked like a handful on TV, and I was surprised they didn't make a chassis adjustment on that pit stop.
Here comes the outside line now with David Reagan giving Kyle Busch a little bit of a shove, and they have evened up with Clint Boyer and may have a chance to go by him as they enter turn 3.
See Michael Waltrip in that 99 car, third in line on the outside. He knows how to do this.
Yeah, if we see that outside line get back to the start-finish line first, that might change somebody's mind here on the next time that we have one of these double file restarts. Pretty much a dead heat right here.
You're right about Clint Boyer's car. It's so strong that he doesn't even have anybody right up on his bumper, but he's able to hang with these guys.
Yeah, and that's really hurting him because whenever he does that, because you can see the 6 car was right on the bumper of Kyle Busch, he's able to push him out front, but Clint's car's so fast on the bottom there that Carl Edwards can't keep up and give him any help.
3 wide.
Brian Vickers in the middle there. He was trying to get that middle line going, and now he is going to be in no man's land as they go by him both inside and outside.
And Joey Logano, Michael McDowell hooking up their bump drafting down the backstretch.
Up front, the 6 car of David Reagan goes to the bottom of the racetrack and makes it look easy by sliding by Kyle Busch to take the lead.
Yeah, that's the perfect example. You push the guy by the leader, and then you're able to have that draft. He's got such a fast car. He was able just to drive by the 18 there. Jamie, what are they saying about the 6?
I'll tell you, under that restart, or under that caution, they were telling David Reagan to conserve fuel. Do you guys really think these guys can make it to the end?
I don't know, Jamie. I mean, it's possible, but it's not a no-brainer, I can tell you that.
Yeah, racing like this, I'd find it hard to believe, because they're pretty much got to stay wide open when you're out front like this.
I can't imagine we'll go green all the way, but if it does, there'll be somebody that may try it.
Here comes Michael Waltrip on that inside with a push from Clint Boyer.
You talked about Michael's prowess on restrictor plate racetracks. All 4 of his Cup victories have come on the plate tracks, but he has never won in a nationwide car.
I cannot believe that. I just can't. I saw that stat today, and I was like, I can't believe Michael Waltrip hasn't won one of these.
Yeah, he's given himself a number of chances. He just hadn't been able to make it back to the finish line first. This could be the night that he changes that.
And how about give a call to the 47 car, Michael McDowell. We talked about the stress and what he is trying to endure here. Up front, here's the 99. Michael Waltrip trying to become the 8th different leader. And does he have enough oomph on the outside? Can he get a little drafting help from behind?
He's going to get a little Toyota power behind that Toyota of his and see if he can help him. Here we go. Matt Kenseth on the bumper of Kyle Busch helping out. See Michael get down there and side draft a little bit on the 6 car. That pulls him back a little bit, and then he was able to get away from him. Now he needs the 18 to get back there as we see Clint Boyer getting to the bumper of the 6 car. Going to be able to give him a little bit of a push before Michael's able to get any help. Here he comes. Michael has a strong car on the outside.
How close do you have to be, DJ, to be able to get an effect from that side draft?
Just literally within a foot, but you want to get it. It feels like you're getting closer than that. You just get over there, and it literally pulls that car back. If you're the guy that's on the inside and somebody's side drafting, you look down at your gauges, you think sometimes your car's quit running.
Look at this list of drivers, including the last 2 series champions, Edwards and Boyer. They have not won on restrictor plate racetracks.
Wow, look at this. How good is this right here?
All this going on up front, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had that problem on pit road. He's stuck back here in traffic.
Yeah, he restarted back in 31st position, Andy. Now he has climbed all the way up to 19th and is picking them off one by one. Now on the bottom of the racetrack, he has Casey Kane behind him in a 2-car draft in the 10 car.
Yeah, I think he knows he still has plenty of time. And before that last caution, the first 20 cars had broken away literally by almost a half a lap from 21st on back. So now we have a lot more cars involved in this front pack.
Let's check in on Casey Kane. Mike.
Well, there was a lot of optimism in the Kane camp coming into this race, Doc. After the second practice, they felt like they had a really good race car. During that practice, they went from the back to the front several times. Kane even said he felt like this is one of the best cars he ever had. Meanwhile, good battle developing up front as we talk about Kane. Waltrip to the front, Kyle trying to draft off him toward the front. Meanwhile, we're talking about Casey Kane. The problem he's experiencing today, a little bit of front valence damage. The 38 checked up in front of him. He got into the rear of him. He's got some nose damage, and because of that, the car has been awfully tight throughout the evening, Doc.
Kane right now mired back in 17th position, Mike, trying to work his way around Scott Lagasse Jr. Up front, Michael Waltrip started back in 30th position and has now taken the lead and led the last 3 laps. We have had 8 leaders, 10 lead changes. What a race here at Daytona on a 4th of July weekend. Fireworks on the racetrack, and watch Waltrip come down. Here comes David Reagan with a little drafting help from Clint Boyer, and Waltrip will slam the door.
Yeah, Michael Waltrip does as good a job as anybody of using that front and taking advantage of the draft that's coming, whether it's the inside or the high line. He might not be able to get back to Kyle Busch. Now, he waited a little bit too long there. But I think he feels comfortable that the inside line is going to help him more than what Kyle has on the outside.
There are 38 cars on the lead lap, and the vast majority of them are right here in the lead draft. What a great race on the high banks of Daytona. Back in a moment. A multi-car crash on the back straightaway. There's the 81 car, also involving the 5 of Dale Earnhardt Jr., who was coming through the pack. Stephen Wallace, the 66 car, also involved. He is spun around, has damage on the front of his car. They had just come off turn 2, and there was contact, and cars started scattering both up and down the racetrack.
And that's the kind of things that can happen when you have problems on pit road. Whenever Dale Jr. started to leave his pit, car was coming in front of him. There was contact. He had to come back. He put him in the back of the pack. Before we went to commercial, saw Dale Jr. kind of back out of it. I thought he saw some things that he really wasn't liking. He was just going to kind of take it easy till things got strung out a little bit. But unfortunately, he got caught up in this accident.
Yeah, Sheltra gets the worst of that. You see him up against the wall getting out of the car. Good to see him getting out there.
He had that hard impact here in February in the ARCA car and spent 3 nights in the hospital.
The 66 might not have been happy with the 81, but I'm not sure.
Looks
He
like
gets
81.
tapped.
He gets a tap from Chase Austin and puts him head on in the wall. Leaves these other guys just trying to scramble out of this.
Junior was going to miss, but Stephen Wallace was trying to miss everything and got into the side of Junior.
Look at Kenny Wallace all the way down on the grass to be able to miss the spinning car of Stephen.
Look at him wheeling that thing in the grass.
Yeah, that's. See it as we come off of turn 2 here.
I mean, these cars are a handful, and turn 2 is the tightest, hardest corner. That's a pretty good lick there for Sheltra.
Yeah, Junior took a hard lick from the 66.
Look at Bliss, Mike Bliss getting through right in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s spinning car.
How many times have we seen Mike Bliss avoid wrecks this weekend?
Well, watch how close it was for him here.
This is all happening right in front of him.
All new.
Yeah, that corner is just so tight. If one car checks up.
Bottom, keep digging. Come on, come on, come on.
You can see his eyes looking over there.
Hold the brake, hold the brake.
Yeah, he knew he was in trouble.
Well, he's looking back and forth.
That might hit you there.
Out both windows, trying to see if there's cars coming toward him or someone sliding at him.
Here they come. The leaders are coming back down pit road.
Should be able to make it from here on fuel. Let's go down to Mike.
And lots of conversation over the radio between Matt Kenseth and Eddie Pardue, debating whether or not they should do 2 tires, 4 tires. They end up doing no tires. Fuel only on the 16, Jamie.
Michael Waltrip in the 99 already gone down 5 rounds on that track bar, going down 1 more. The car is extremely loose. They're going to take 4 tires. Shannon?
Amy, this is the money stop, the last stop for this 18 team. Kyle says he's just a little bit loose up top. They're going to make air pressure at 4 tires. Dave?
Sunoco fuel for Clint Boyer. He's already been beat off of pit road, but they had to take 4 tires. They said there's no way those left sides would last to the end, so they took 4.
Matt Kenseth just looked like gas and go. I think that might come back to haunt him later.
I don't like that idea.
And watch Michael Waltrip trying to get out of his pits here just a moment ago. Took 4 tires. Now watch him coming out. Here comes the 49.
Oh, hard impact to the side.
All the way in the right side door. He's coming out. Mark Green coming in. And boy, they almost got into Joe Nemechek's crew there. Damage to the sheet metal on the right side of the 99 car. Back with a restart here in a moment.
I'm Jay Harris. Here's what's happening on SportsCenter right now. Wimbledon today. Roger Federer beat Tommy Haas in straight sets on center court. Federer's 7th consecutive Wimbledon final is his 20th career appearance in the finals of a major. Federer will face Andy Roddick in the final. Roddick beat Andy Murray in 4 sets. This will be Roddick's 3rd Wimbledon final. He lost to Federer in his previous 2 appearances. Phil Jackson will be back in L.A. to defend the title. Phil issuing a statement today on the Lakers website confirming he will be back to complete the final season of his contract. These stories, Tiger and Manny's return tonight on SportsCenter.
Back at Daytona, aerial coverage provided by our good friends at Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. New Fuel Max tires help you have a winning fuel strategy. You see the damaged car of Patrick Sheltra coming back on the flatbed. One of 4 cars involved in an incident, including Dale Earnhardt Jr., who was climbed out of his car. And while they're trying to get some repair, and there is Michael Waltrip's car that was damaged on pit road a moment ago. And watch what front tire carrier Dwayne Moore saw as they were making the pit stop.
Not what you want to see.
No, and
they're coming back now to do some more work.
Yeah, he was just leading the race, looking very good, having a chance of winning this race. And when you keep 30-some cars on the lead lap, that line is so long getting into pit road, and by the time these guys can get their work done, and then it creates a situation like this.
Michael has been on and off pit road a couple of times to try to get some patches and repair done, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. back in the garage area to get some work done on his car as well.
Tomorrow afternoon, ESPN delivers the 94th annual Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Can Joey Chestnut defend his title and earn the coveted mustard yellow belt, or will 6-time champion Kobayashi regain the title? It's the 2009 Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. ESPN tomorrow at noon. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Go ahead. I know you're waiting.
Joey Chestnut.
We need to get you in that contest. And a look at the 0-1 car. Danny O'Quinn, the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass guy, so he gets a lap back on this caution. And Brad, we're set for the finish now, fuel-wise, with a little strategy session.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys got the fuel. David Reagan's, you heard his crew chief talking about taking it easy on fuel. He stayed up front. He, Matt Kenseth, as well as Kyle Busch and Boyer, they're all going to be good to go. We're going to see some solid racing. Hopefully we don't get another caution and they can shoot it out for the next 38 laps.
Kenseth and Reagan fuel only. McDowell and Allgaier third and fourth. Right sides only. Everybody else four. We're coming to the restart dock with Kenseth choosing the inside.
Double file restart, and this is a spotter's nightmare. Let's listen in as we come down to the green flag and listen to the spotters with full throttle. And they're going to add a lap here and put the lights back on to get everybody lined up. Now it'll be one to go. And let's check in the garage where Jamie is caught up with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And he's out of the car now. So, Junior, what happened?
I don't really know. We was sitting there trying to save the right front. Everybody been blistering tires on that last run, and I was going to try to sit back here and save my tires and then cut up through them with, before we had to make the last stop. And we'd lost all that track position, so trying to race up in there and run right behind people just burned the right front off again. So I was trying to keep air on the front of my car, and some guys got together. It's real tight off the two. Guys are pushing up into each other, and somebody had to check up and cause a crash, but it was bound to happen. I mean, everybody's cars are driving about the same. Looks like Kyle's car's handling really good, sticking to the track really good, and we need to do a little more homework, get a little more downforce into our car so we can handle that good when the tires get worn. This place is wore out and slick. We ain't been running on it all weekend. Ain't no rubber downs, so we had fun. I was having fun, and Fastenal Chevrolet, it was good.
He's used the word fun quite a bit, Doc, and he'll be back in the car in Atlanta.
He will be, and that'll be his last race of 2009 in the Nationwide Series. There are 35 cars in the lead lap, and Michael Waltrip is the last car on the lead lap. His damaged Toyota has been on and off pit road again, trying to get some of that sheet metal peeled away to the right side and get some help there with the cosmetics. And how much will that impact the car aerodynamically?
Well, it's going to make a difference. It's caved in a lot on that right side. The lucky thing for him is it didn't hit the wheel and really caused more damage. And the front of the fender's fine. I mean, he can still, if he gets in the draft, be fairly competitive.
All right, let's try this again. A couple of rounds. Fenway teammates up front. Kenseth on the inside, Reagan on the high side. Double file restart shootout style. And we told you these kind of restarts keep the spotters very busy. So let's listen in as we go full throttle.
You ready? Coming to the green. You're ready here now. Get you a good start. Hey, cars off. Let's get ready. You ready? Be ready. Ready. Green flag. Outside. Just protect your bumper. 20's all over you. 2x2. Slowing on the apron. Still 2 wide. Still 2x2. Still 2. One inside. Still 2. Got the 12 and a bunch with them. Still 2. Coming outside.
That is real telemetry speed you are seeing there, folks, on that full throttle.
Down, which one is it? In the middle, even with you. Throwing here. 2 wide. Still 2 by 2. Yeah, you got it. They'll come with you.
Get on by there. You're still clear low. Go on. Go on. They're going with you. Go on.
Take out through the middle here.
Still there.
3 wide when you get there. Way up there.
Clear. 2 by 2. Run your line.
3. You're clear to the middle. Now 2 way. 60's your help. 32.
David Reagan on the bottom of the racetrack. You think that's a lot of chatter on that radio, but those spotters are going to earn their nickels now with this double file restarts.
I've been up there spotting for a restrictor plate race, and it's very, very difficult. I didn't like it at all. And you can hear all that chatter out there, even outside your headset.
By the way, Patrick Sheltra checked out and released at the care center. He is okay. How about Michael McDowell there in 3rd position in the 47 car? We told you he's racing for a future. They don't get something done here in this race and get sponsors, he will not be in Chicago next weekend. Dave.
And guys, he has had such a good race car tonight on 2 different occasions. He has made no changes or asked for no changes on that race car. Gene Need, the crew chief, who you see right there, has been overseeing things. He just hopes there'll be someone that'll go with his driver at the end of this race.
Yeah, he's going to have to be extremely patient right now. He sees a couple guys going by on the high side, but he's in a really good spot with Kyle Busch behind him.
He's our biggest mover. He's gained 36 spots since the start of the race.
He was the highest finishing rookie here in February, finished in 14th the first time he ran the nationwide car here. And now a little bump drafting, a little pop from behind on Matt Kenseth.
He has to be careful right there. He's losing a little bit of grip. Got him up in the middle.
You see how many spots that this team's gained on pit road. He's losing some down the front straightaway, but he's gained quite a few spots, 17 on pit road.
Now he is wedged in the middle as Carl Edwards will go underneath him and take the bottom line away.
You know, Matt Kenseth did not take tires that last time. I don't think that's going to work out too good as they go if they run a lot of laps here, but it's working pretty good so far, Mike.
Yeah, I think if you had asked Eddie Pardue, the crew chief for the 16 car, he might have done something different on that last stop. As we watch now the battle for the lead. Clint Boyer to the outside, David Reagan down low. They're door to door as they head down the straightaway into the corner. There comes Kenseth, though, back into the picture. Their question was, they had a lot of debate over the radio as they came down pit road, whether to take 4 tires, 2 tires. They even debated taking just left sides. Instead, they kind of ran out of time at the decision moment, and they went with fuel only. As Kenseth rolled away, he said, we're going to be sitting ducks. And as you can see him fading back, he appears to be prophetic. His car is not handling the way he wants it to, and he feels like the left side tires will not go the distance, guys.
Right now, Mike, he is going backwards as they go by him on both sides, caught in the middle and without any drafting help.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was afraid of when he took Andy, and I neither one agreed with that scenario there of not putting any tires on this car. And it's just hard to hold it down, especially as you get other cars around you. And their car's been loose most of the night anyway.
Likewise, just like Kenseth did a moment ago, the 47 on McDowell in the middle. And a lot of times these veterans will go on the high and low side and not want to help a rookie, although he's got a rookie, Justin Allgaier, on his inside. And McDowell still losing spots.
Oh, getting together just, man, almost
be careful, get tight in there. Still 3 wide. No help.
There was 3 rookies all together right there. Scott Lagacy on the outside.
You see all those yellow bumpers right there in that group. Michael Annette in the 15, the 47. That yellow stripe means that's a rookie driver.
Back up front, Boyer trying to hold off Vickers.
How about Jason Leffler coming up on the outside now? He's showing up to the party.
Yeah, he's been very patient tonight, and he started back a little further than what he's accustomed to here, but he has a string of 11 straight top 10 finishes, and I think he's just now going to assert how strong his car really is.
Another guy I think might be doing that will be Kevin Harvick in the 33. He's got a strong car. He's been fairly patient this whole race, and we haven't seen a lot of him, but I think he might show up here when it's time to start paying off.
Remember, Vickers and Leffler are Braun Racing teammates in the 32 and 38. It is a Chevy up front, a Ford second, and then they are side by side there on back. Back with more with the Subway Jalapeno 250 in a moment. Caution for the 4th time tonight, debris in turn 1, and the pits are open, and David Reagan is the only car among the lead pack to peel down pit road here with 28 laps to go. Now let's go down to Mike in the 16 pit, the Kenseth pit.
And loose has been the chronic problem for the 16. They're going to try to address that issue with a wedge adjustment. This time, they'll take 4 tires, not going to take any chances, along with some fuel. Jamie?
Now, David Reagan, the team wanted to take 2. He said, guys, if you give me 4, I think I can pass. I'll probably restart about 12th, but I can get up there to the front. Doc?
David Reagan coming out down pit road. See Morgan Shepherd coming in, the 40 car. Scott Wimmer coming off. There is Kenseth coming out. And that'll put the 66 car as our lucky dog. That is Stephen Wallace, who was gets the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass.
See the damage he sustained in that caution a couple of cautions ago that happened on the back straightaway.
So again, it was debris in turn 1 that produced this caution flag, the 4th caution flag of the night. ESPN delivers 2 nights of Major League Baseball action. First at 8 Eastern on Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. The Tampa Bay Rays face the Texas Rangers. Then catch Monday Night Baseball presented by Holiday Inn at 7 Eastern as the Braves take on the Cubs. Major League Baseball on ESPN and ESPN 360 Monday and Sunday. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Just 27 laps remaining here at Daytona in the Subway Jalapeno 250 and NASCAR Nationwide Series race. Working caution for the 4th time tonight. The top 18 cars, as they run right now, stayed on the racetrack and did not come down pit road. So a little bit of a different strategy being played out by some cars. We saw David Reagan, who was the first of the lead cars to peel off and actually make a pit stop to get tires during this caution flag.
See David Reagan right there in the 6 car. He came down pit road. They made a late decision to come down and try to get 4 tires on this car. See the leader, Clint Boyer.
I like this idea, coming and getting 4 tires right now. These cars, we've heard Clint Boyer talk about earlier, they are a handful to drive. They've got some laps on them. This racing is going to be the most furious that they've seen all night, so you better have some as much rubber as you possibly can.
Let's listen into the David Reagan radio.
We're going to be about 18th or 20th. Double file restarts, though. Yeah, therefore about the 10th or 12th row. Yeah, and you know, if it wasn't a double file restart, that would have been a little different, but we'll be all right here.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, that you don't give up near the track position that you normally would with this new rule in place. You get to line up there with double file, and you get a lot of that back pretty quick.
Yeah, he will actually restart back in 20th position. Remember back in February, it was Tony Stewart who came in late, and he was the only one that peeled off and came in and took on tires, and he drove right back through the field and won the race.
I have to believe that has something to do with that decision they made right there. Looking at that and then the double file restart, making the life a little bit easier there. But this is going to be pretty wild and woolly here right now. We're getting down to the time that these guys going to be all take and not much given here.
Now 26 laps to go, be 25 this time by. They'll be all standing on the gas.
8 of the top 10 cars right now have not led a lap tonight. Only Clint Boyer and Kyle Busch among the top 10 have led here at Daytona in this race tonight.
We've got teammates in that outside line from the same camp. We have Brian Vickers on the run is in 2nd and Jason Leffler in 4th. Clint Boyer got that inside line going off from that restart.
That team really needs a win, but I don't know if he can block for 25 straight laps, but he's going to, something happened to Michael Annette's car. He's down out of the groove.
And he had cut a left front tire before, and he's got another one down.
Exact same thing again. He got his lap back in position. Now he's going to have to make another green flag stop.
He got the lucky dog to get back on the lead lap, and he'll head back down.
Now that's unfortunate of him. I just told Andy during the break there that I thought he might have a chance of getting up, maybe not winning the race, but running in the top 5. So that's unfortunate.
Well, the inside line is just absolutely the way to go. The outside line sort of stagnates on the restart.
Well, that's generally the way that it's been here over the years, that for the first 2 or 3 laps, that's the way it is. And then for some reason, then the outside line starts coming back little by little. And you'll see Brian Vickers back up here. If they're able to stay together and stay hooked up with his teammate there, they'll be back and battling for the lead here in a minute.
Clint Boyer in the 29 car. If you just joined our coverage, he was the pole sitter. He had never won a pole at Daytona before. He has never won a restrictor plate race in Nationwide or Sprint Cup competition. And it's about teamwork on that outside line. Let's go down and check in the Braun team. Dave.
And Doc, during that last caution, Brian Vickers asked, what was the deal with, oh, we got a crash on the track. We'll get to that, Doc.
The 07, Chase Austin involved.
Looked like Kerry Earnhardt may have got a piece of that also.
There's a 23 car also involved heavy damage with Robert Richardson Jr.
Yeah, there's a car torn up real, but I think that could be the Kerry Earnhardt car. He's on fire. He's getting out. You see the window net coming down. Needs to get out of there quick.
Safety crews are on their way. He's trying to get unbuckled and then get out of the window with all the wiring hooked up in the harness.
You see the fire dying out just a little bit, but it needs to get out of there. A lot of smoke. Help's on the way.
Finally just took the helmet off and got out from underneath the helmet and came out.
Yeah, and that's one of the things when, Kerry hasn't run a whole lot, and one of the things that you practice a lot, or when you're in the situation driving a lot, you keep that in mind of how do I get out of this car quickly, and you actually practice that. Not in these, don't want to be in this type of situation, but that's what you have to do. See Chase Austin here unbuckling.
You see a lot of things hooked to the helmet. You got a hose, you got a Hans device, radio cords. A lot of things in there to unhook.
We can see what happened here over in turn 2.
It looks like Chase Austin just got loose.
Yeah, it's actually in the middle of turns 3 and 4 here. Got loose.
Pretty hard lick there on the outside wall.
Robert Richardson's onboard camera. Let's watch his involvement. He was trying to miss it.
Right in front of you. Go high. Come on through here. Come on through here. Hold it nice and easy. Come on.
I saw Jason Keller just get by there.
And he did a hell of a job.
Richardson did a great job. There's just nothing he could do there. I mean, he just ran out of room.
Watch Kenseth and Jason Keller just sneak by.
Spit in there. Keep coming. Yellow's out. Yellow.
Look how calm that spotter's voice is.
Yeah, he's calm because his car's in front of the wreck.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Kerry Earnhardt able to get out of his heavily damaged car, and his younger brother Dale Earnhardt Jr. already in the garage area with problems on his race car tonight. 22 laps to go. Back with a restart here at Daytona tomorrow. Just 21 laps remaining here in tonight's Subway Jalapeno 250, powered by Coca-Cola. And folks, it is crunch time. Maybe that's a bad choice of words. It has been crunch time for much of the night, and we just saw another one over in turn 4. Some heavy hits there. Well, we might mention David Reagan, by the way, who pitted for those tires, has gained all the way from 20th to 13th position. So he's on his way back to the front. And we have right now 33 cars still on the lead lap. We'll take a break and come back and take you all the way to the checkered flag here at Daytona. Back at Daytona, still working caution for the 5th time tonight. And we went away a moment ago. There was some discussion about some of these guys that did not pit, and they made a decision as the 60 car came down pit road for 4 tires, and the word was that he had a right front tire possibly going down.
Yeah, it looks flat. They came in the pit stall right there. We heard on his radio that he kind of wanted tires, but looks like they're forced now into putting tires on that car. Dave?
Yeah. There's a gash down here, guys. We're going to have it turn around here just to show it. Carl did report during that car, there it is right there, that he ran over some debris, and when that car came down pit road, sure enough, that right front tire was flat. But Carl had been wanting to talk his crew chief into coming down and putting on 4 tires anyway. Around this time of the race, after that last caution, he said, if we get down to that point, let's come and take some. He wanted the fresh rubber big time.
Well, now he gets it.
Yeah, and sometimes as a driver, if you don't get the response from your crew chief that you want, you find something to run over. There's always something laying out there most of the time. So.
I don't think those drivers can stand that there's one extra set of tires laying on pit road and there's only 19 laps to go.
Michael Annette, who had already gone down a lap once and got back on the lead lap and into the top 5, now goes behind the wall. By the way, a moment ago when Carl Edwards came down pit road, so did Kevin Harvick in the 33 car and Casey Kane. All those cars on the lead lap and now with fresh rubber.
Well, let's see what they can do with it. They're going to line up pretty far back because of pitting so late. You can see the 38 car in 6th spot. Now he's made a big charge up through there, Jamie.
He has, but bad news, Andy. He just reported he's lost 3rd gear. They have notified the spotters. David Gilliland in the 42 will line up behind him, notifying him, guys, this could not come at a worse time. Jason Leffler was just on the move.
Well, that's going to be tough because they'll restart in 2nd gear here, right, Dale? And
that's right, yeah.
What do you do if you do have no 3rd?
You wind it out in 2nd, and then you got to be very careful that you make sure that you get it over into 4th and don't come back, to 2nd again and miss
you're
that
waiting
gear.
on people to run over you from behind.
Yeah, but you're going to lay back a little bit and give yourself a little bit of room. Try to get over into that 4th gear a little bit soon, and that way you might get a little bit of a push without stacking everybody up behind you.
You saw the head nodding back and forth. Scott Zipadelli, the crew chief, they have done a phenomenal job. You talked about 11 consecutive top 10 finishes, 2 second-place finishes, and they thought they were going to have a car that could contend late tonight, and they have gotten up there.
They still might.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to be tough on this restart.
This 12 car is rookie Justin Allgaier. And a lot of wheeling and dealing going on there, Shannon.
That's right, Doc. What an impressive run for Justin Allgaier. But what's even more impressive is the radio chatter. His spotter is working out deals with some of the veterans on the racetrack. Before that last restart, it was Kevin Harvick in the 33. He said, Harvick, I'll go wherever you go. Harvick said, as long as you push straight. Now, Justin Allgaier is making a deal with the 18 team of Kyle Busch. They said that they will stick with Kyle to the end. They'll push him as far as he needs to go.
Now the question is, will they honor the commitment? DJ, what do you feel when you're trying to make a deal with a rookie like that? Even though he's a talented rookie, he's still a rookie here at Daytona.
Well, the thing is, the deals they're making is they're going to push other people. So you like that idea. You don't mind that if a guy's going to help you. It's if you're trying to help the 12. And we have some radio from Kyle Busch here.
Hey, this 12 is going to stay with you. Captain and Crazy both have said he's with us to the end. Try not to ditch him, but he'll push as much as he can. He said they just need to finish. I'm like, we need to finish. So.
I say all bets are off when they get to turn 3, come to the checker, but it's a good plan to get there.
And the other thing is, these guys know that 12 is a fast race car. They've seen him up front the entire night. He's done a good job while he's been up there. So, hey, he's got this time under his belt. Let's give him a chance.
Yeah, Justin Allgaier, by the way, 7th in the point standings, right behind the points leader. And we might mention the 20 car. Joey Logano now being shown in 7th position, our most recent Sprint Cup winner last week at New Hampshire.
Yeah, David Gilliland doing a really good job in that 42 car. He started up in the top 10 tonight. Still has that car in the top 10, running in the 8th spot.
Front row, Clint Bowyer, Kyle Busch, and by the way, the last 4 times they have run nationwide cars here, listen to Kyle Busch's finish. He won in July of 07, 2nd in February of 08, 2nd in July of 08, and 4th this past year. Hadn't finished worse than 4th in the last 4 races.
We've seen that inside lane have the advantage on these first couple of laps. Let's see if Kyle Busch can keep that car up front there and try to contend for the lead.
Keep an eye on the 38 car. Remember, no 3rd gear. Watch the restart for Leffler.
Yeah, you can see that he's getting passed by David Gilliland there. But that's not going to hurt him too bad. As long as we don't have a caution late in this, that's whenever it's going to affect him the most. He'll be able to get back up to speed. As a matter of fact, you can see the 42's not even going to be able to get by. Jason can fall in line on the inside.
Yeah, I think he did a great job with not having a 3rd gear, and they had a good plan, and it worked out.
Kyle Busch able to pull away a little bit from Allgaier, and now the deal is working as Allgaier has caught him. But look at Clint Bowyer just rocketing by on the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, here comes David Reagan, too. We talked about he had tires on 2 cautions ago. Now he's up with Justin Allgaier.
I'll tell you somebody else that has tires is Joe Nemechek in that red 87.
Now Leffler, see him the right side of your screen. He's back up to speed right in behind David Reagan. Folks, this is going to be one heck of a shootout here these final 17 laps.
Here comes Keselowski now working the outside lane. Haven't seen a lot out of him tonight, but we know he's got a fast car.
That's a little surprising right there. He'd make that move in. I thought he might hang with that Chevrolet since Bowyer's car's been so strong. He was ready to make the move and try to get to the front. We heard Dale Jr. say early before this race started he'd like to be out front.
Now David Reagan has turned left and gone all the way down the inside lane and tried to get by that way.
See some of the windshield tear-offs blowing off the cars down the backstretch.
Some of these guys are going to try to start utilizing that middle too to make their way back up. You see Carl Edwards, who came in and got tires, trying to make his way back to the front. He's up on the high side.
So is Kevin Harvick, and the right side of your screen there's Harvick trying to make down the middle of the racetrack. Casey Kane is there right in front of Harvick.
Carl Edwards has already made up 10 spots.
Yeah, and he has a teammate working behind him, so that's always nice when you have that situation when you're trying to go forward. See, Carl's going to go to the inside, or to the middle.
Update to 33, Kevin Harvick. Shannon.
Well, he's been battling tight conditions all night, guys. You said he restarted this restart 23rd. You thought that may have been a problem for him. Not so. He restarted the last time 23rd. That was because he had to be on pit road for some fender damage. Right now, that 33 car is pretty stout.
Look at Michael Waltrip working the outside with all that damage on the right side.
See, he and Stephen Wallace both in there with damage to their cars.
Here comes Harvick. He's got a strong car, got tires.
See Jason Leffler trying to work the middle, trying to get somebody to go with him up through the center.
He's found somebody. Harvick's there.
Leffler, by the way, will share that car with Casey Kane in 2010. It was announced today, just before the race began. There is Harvick. Michael Waltrip getting a push from behind by Stephen Wallace. Great racing here in the final laps of Daytona.
It's hard to believe that 99 car can be that strong in this pack with that much damage.
Michael's gotten all the way back to 15th position.
Now we see Jason Leffler down to the inside. He really doesn't have any help down there now.
Here's Vickers working the bottom side of the racetrack. You see Boyer now, he just works both lanes there. He's kind of working the top, now he's working the bottom.
Here's Joey Logano. He's found his way to the front of that outside line.
There's the 12 car still behind the 18. He said he would stay there.
They're going the wrong direction here.
And this is Carl Edwards we're riding with. He started way back on this restart.
Yeah, and that's not always a bad thing, though. We're not even inside of 10 laps left. I like to be going forward when you get down to those last 5 or 6 laps.
It does seem like it's timing of the surge that gets you there.
Let's update David Reagan on the 60, I should say. Dave.
Yeah, the 60 car of Carl Edwards, and he radioed his crew when he started 21st in this pack here. He said, as long as it stays green, we're going to be fine. Remember, he begged for those tires, and when he had the problem with the left front, that gave them the opportunity to put on fresher rubber than most of the other drivers.
Dave, I think tires are going to make the difference in this thing. Those guys are coming.
Yeah, you could see David Reagan has literally pushed the one car out of the way. He couldn't go that fast, just moved him.
And now Reagan is there, and his teammate Carl Edwards behind him as they are moving in on the second place car of Vickers. There's the high lines. Joey Logano in the 20 and Brad Keselowski in the 88.
Oh, Carl Edwards into the 6 car.
Nice save.
He had a really big run trying to go to the inside of David Reagan.
Still a lot of time left. We've got 12 laps to go. I'll be telling my driver, be calm now. I know you want to get there, but try to get this thing to the finish. See the 15 car, Michael Annette, coming back up to speed on the apron, coming down the backstretch.
Now Kyle Busch up there trying to push his teammate Joey Logano around to get that high line going. It is Logano, Busch, then Brad Keselowski in line in front of Matt Kenseth. Jamie.
Well, Doc, we haven't talked about Joey Logano much. He's coming off his first ever Cup win last weekend. The car is coming to him. He said he's having fun, and crew chief Dave Rogers said, be patient, be aggressive, you're gonna win.
You see another car there that has 4 tires. You see the 10 car of Casey Kane trying to make his way towards the front. He and Michael Waltrip touch a little bit.
Got to cut Michael off. Michael's car's still fast with all that damage. Scott Lagacy coming up behind that 11 car. That's a backup car.
Yeah.
Crashed in practice.
Give a call to that rookie Lagacy. He is now moving by Michael Waltrip in the middle, right up behind Casey Kane.
It gives a little bump to Casey to try to shove him by.
So Kane now being shown in 12th position. That's Mike Wallace in 13th. That's Mike Bliss you're riding with in the 16th spot.
Yeah, Bliss got shuffled out a while ago by the cars had tires. Carl Edwards and the 6 car David Reagan coming up through there.
See Mike Bliss give Michael Waltrip a little bit of a tap and send him in front of that group.
10 laps to go. Now, Clint Boyer is our leader. And look at this mess back here, 3 wide from about 11th on back. It is Boyer leading the way, Vickers, Reagan, Edwards, and Kyle Busch, the top 5.
They're starting to get antsy again up front. You saw them try to organize a little bit of a draft there, but not going to stay in line this close to the end.
Inside that lap 10, or 10 laps to go, magic number. Everybody starts, business starts picking up about now. Everything's out the window. It's really no teammate, no anything. You just got to try to make your car go forward with whoever you can make that happen with.
Remember at Talladega, David Reagan came out of turn 4 on the final lap running 4th and won the race, leading the final 50 feet.
Yeah, I like Carl Edwards' chances right here. He's sitting there in 3rd. He's worked his way up there. He's got the freshest tires of anybody in that front group.
He's come up 18 spots since the restart. Those tires really paid off for him. He said he wanted them. It's working. He's inside right here.
You can see Vickers slip a little bit out of turn 2. Carl Edwards able to stick his nose in there.
And Edwards able to get some drafting help from Kyle Busch, and he will go by Vickers to take the 2nd spot away. How many times has Carl Edwards been in position to win here? He was passed with 10 laps to go in February. He was passed with 16 laps to go last July. Both times they passed him for the win, and he has never won a plate race.
I think he's sitting in the catbird seat right now.
He's there, but where's he going to go? Clint Boyer's not getting off of that double yellow line down there, so what's Carl Edwards going to do?
He might force him off that bottom. Just like we saw Kyle Busch try to push Tony Stewart.
Here comes David Reagan trying to lead a group with the help of Kevin Harvick on the outside. Steve Vickers trying to make it work as he got shuffled out from up front.
I think Vickers was sitting in a good spot, but not having 4 tires and start slipping and sliding this part of the run is when you really lose a lot of grip.
Look at Roush Fenway. They have 10 top 5s, but believe it or not, Jack Roush has not won. One of 4 tracks he has not won on here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series at Daytona. Now, back in February, Clint Boyer led the most laps but did not win the race. He finished 3rd as they were able to use the draft and go by him with less than 10 laps to go. Let's check in with Dave.
Guys, slight contact here can alter the way that these cars are shaped, and the shape can help them go faster. Carl Edwards wonders if that contact with the 32 car might have upset it just a little bit on that fender, and the crew's telling him right now they think it's okay. Try to get that 29.
Yeah, that scramble's on. I see that 29 car starting to get a little bit out of shape right there. He's going to have to really have his hands full to hold off Carl Edwards. You can see him really working that car through the corner.
Well, the 2008 champion leads the 2007 champion, who leads the current points leader. They're 1, 2, 3 at Daytona with 6 laps to go.
That might be too many laps for Boyer to hang on to this thing. I'm telling you, that car is all over the place.
Yeah, really bouncing coming out of turn 4 there, just losing a lot of grip with each lap.
Got a crash.
Eric McClure in the 24 car has gone around. And the 04 is also involved. That is Curtis Davis.
Morgan Shepherd sliding through the grass. He got a little damage there on the left side. Actually, quite a bit of damage to the body. Looks like he may have blown a left rear tire. Morgan.
The 05 also involved Jeff Green. There's McClure's car.
And Curtis Davis, he's gotten his car torn up. Now he can't get out of the grass there. We had a lot of rain just before this race started. Made it real slick down there.
So caution number 6 and a lot of debris on the racetrack. Danny O'Quinn, the teammate to Curtis Davis, has gotten some damage on his car.
Yeah, it's been a tough day for the Davis team. Johnny Davis owns 3 of these cars. These two and Mike Wallace didn't make the field after his engine blew qualifying. Yeah, you see Curtis Davis blows a tire. It's like a right rear.
And right behind him was his teammate that got into him, the 01. He had nowhere to go.
Riding now with Danny O'Quinn. Boy, you see that tire explode right there. Worst case scenario, both cars involved.
And then we mentioned Jeff Green, the 2000 Series champion, also getting sustaining damage on the front, left side, and rear of his car.
Okay, 5 laps to go. Double file restart. It's going to get interesting.
These guys have a lot of laps on their tires now. These cars are not driving good.
with all the debris that we have on the track, it looks like this thing may come down to a green-white checker.
Yeah.
Well, we've had 4 in a row here, green-white checkers at Daytona. The last 4 Julys. This would make it 5 in a row. Morgan Shepherd trying to get his line of limp, his Chevy back to pit road as best he can.
Yeah, he was tearing his car up with that flat tire, and he probably just said, I'm just going to stop here and not do any more damage.
I'm sitting here, can't go.
Now he says he can't go.
And that's what's left of Curtis Davis's
oh, now he's, oh my gosh, he's on fire here. He need to stop that car now.
It finally looked like he ruptured
He had an
fuel
oil
line there, or
probably an oil
line,
fuel
yeah.
lines. My goodness, get out of that thing.
Curtis trying to get unhooked, and safety crews are trying to get there as quickly as they can.
He didn't bother to unhook his wire. He just pulled it right on out of there. Good job getting out of there. Man, bad situation just turned worse. They need to get that fire out. I think Johnny Davis will be glad to see this day over.
Johnny Davis, the dad of Curtis, who owns all 3 of those cars. A night he's going to want to forget here in Daytona. Officially 4 laps to go. We are just 4 laps away from what would be the normal distance here, 100 laps. And we are working caution number 6. The contact again involving 5 cars: Danny O'Quinn, Curtis Davis, Morgan Shepherd, Eric McClure, and the 05 of Jeff Green. Aerial coverage from high above Daytona International Speedway, brought to you by our good friends at Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. New Fuel Max tires help you have a winning fuel strategy. Well, after the accident, they're just trying to limp their way back to pit road, and Curtis Davis says, can my night get any worse? And suddenly it does, as the car erupts in flames. The good news was he climbed out okay. Back in a moment.
NASCAR Nationwide Series Subway Jalapeno 250 at Daytona International Speedway is presented by Subway, home of the famous $5 footlong. Subway, eat fresh. And in part by Verizon Wireless. Get the inside track from Penske Racing, race analysis from our drivers, plus highlights and more on VCast.
Cleanup continues as we get ready for another late race shootout here at Daytona International Speedway. Pit road open for the first time. Any takers among the front runners? Does not look like it, as we're only going to have a couple laps between now and the finish, and we've got some 28 cars on the lead lap. From the pit studio, Bestwick and Brad, I got some guys at the tail end of the pack coming in. So some things to look at here for the front of the field for this restart. Clint Bowyer is now, instead of being at the head of a single file line of lead lap cars inside the final 20 laps, he's going to have Carl Edwards alongside him.
It's going to be double file. It's what we talked about in the pre-race show. Just think of the scenario of having this restart, and now we're going to have it. But I tell you, Alan, the thing that interests me is watching Brad Keselowski. He has worked himself up into that top 5, and he has stayed there. He's got a really fast race car. I think he's one to be reckoned with before this thing is all said and done.
Question is, will he be behind Clint Bowyer or Carl Edwards for the restart? Depends on the lane choice that Bowyer makes. Now, Carl Edwards has some damage to his right front fender on that 60 car. There's a couple opportunities for him to have gotten it. First, little contact with his teammate David Reagan, the 6.
Yeah, you see David kind of pinches him down just a little bit and runs him down below the double yellow and gets into that left front. But I tell you, that wasn't all. I mean, Carl really had a tough time. They're getting this car sorted out. You see the 32 there, Brian Bickers just didn't see him, and once again comes down on that right front and scuffs it up a little bit. But I tell you, Carl's got fresh rubber on that race car, and he's got a fast car. I think he is the man to beat right now.
So does Clint Bowyer choose inside or outside for the restart? Can Carl Edwards get around him? We're going to come down to one of those Daytona shootouts again. Doc, DJ, and Andy.
Yeah, and Carl Edwards' tires are 21 laps newer than the guy in front of him and the guy behind him. And we mentioned that we have had green-white checkers 4 times this year, and the last 2 times we've had green-white checkers, The guy leading at the scheduled distance was not the guy who won the race.
But the good news for Carl Edwards is it's always been a Roush winner.
Kerry Earnhardt, after that scary fire, has been released and is standing by with Mike.
And as you mentioned, Doc, he has been released. He's clear, no injuries, no burns. But what happened?
Well, just typical Daytona. The 07 car, I think Chase Austin got loose up top, and I backed out, and he started coming down, and I trying to get up on the brakes, and I hit the 05 car, I think, in the rear, and then the people behind me got me, and I think we just all piled up. Hit the 05 and the 07 both, and then hit the wall and had a little fire, so I had a little inhalation of the fire and the fumes and everything, so I had my CO was a little too high, so that's what took me long to get out.
The good news, Doc, is he is okay. He is walking away. Was treated for heat-related circumstances, and well, he'll be good to go.
Look forward to seeing Kerry coming back. And here again was the contact, a 31 car.
Yeah, this was the first
this was earlier
incident that he was involved in.
This is not the one where not the one where he was involved with the fire. It was a later accident here that he got into.
Yeah, the one on the fire was back on lap 77. Well, guys, a little bit of damage on the fenders. We documented that on a 60 car. How much will that affect Carl Edwards?
I would have to say it's going to be more of an effect now that he's up front in the clean air. I think that it's going to have a bigger effect there than when he was following Clint Boyer, because that was kind of helping him in that respect.
I think the bigger problem that Carl Edwards has right now is that we only have basically 3 laps to go, and we've seen that inside lane have an advantage, especially early after the restart. So it's going to be really hard for Carl. And the other thing is Carl cannot beat Clint to that start-finish line. He has to make sure he is behind him, so he can't actually get that run that he needs to try to stay up beside him.
Yeah, and the other thing's going to make it difficult is we see the lineup here with Clint Boyer, who has a fast car. He's got a fast car with Kyle Busch behind him, and so that helps him even more to get that push. So it's going to be a tough thing for Carl Edwards to, as you said, and get lined up and get that outside line back to where they can get to the lead.
28 cars on the lead lap and a green-white-checkered. We wondered what would happen on the double foul restart shootout style at Daytona if we got a green-white-checkered. We're going to find out. It's already been exciting throughout the night with these restarts. And now Clint Boyer on the inside, Carl Edwards on the outside, Kyle Busch behind him, Keselowski behind Edwards.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Keselowski make a bold move right here on this restart too.
Hayes' car will pull away, and remember, as you said, DJ, the 60 cannot beat the 29 to the start-finish line.
Yep. You know, we talked about in the countdown show that the guys that might be in the catbird seat here might be the guys in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. If they can get a nice little run going. We'll see. Man, great start by Carl Edwards on the outside. He didn't beat him there either.
He timed it perfectly. He laid back just a little bit, but he had a little bit of momentum by the time they got there, and he's got it right now. Got a push.
Keselowski is just shoving Edwards in turn 1.
Yeah, and what he needs is that 12 car to get up behind him to really have a good chance. Man, what a start those two guys got.
Here they come off a 2, and Edwards has him by about 6 inches.
Oh, yeah.
He's getting a big push from Keselowski. Gets him actually loose.
Yeah, you have to be careful, yeah, because he's trying to get over there to get a little side draft here.
Okay. Don't let that 18 under you.
Now Kyle Busch pushing Boyer, and Boyer just trying to hang on to that car. It gets very loose in 3.
Coming to the white flag, and it's just like we've seen. Oh, look at that 10 car slide up there.
Well, Casey Kane up across the racetrack. And
he is all over the place. They got another crash.
Oh, Mike Bliss hard into the wall.
The white and the caution flag. And heavy damage. There's Bliss. There's the 23 car of Robert Richardson.
Well, that'll do it right there. They took the white flag. Looks like that might be the win for Clint Boyer.
And on the caution, it's where they are on the racetrack.
All right. Well, we won at Daytona.
Childress needed that right now.
There, Pookie.
He got his first career Daytona pole today, and he got his first career Daytona win tonight. Clint Boyer gets it done here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
I'm waiting to see that checker flag, then I'll holler.
Yeah, he's just like me. They're not over till you see that checkered flag, but I think it looks good for you, Richard.
Great job, everybody. Tribute here.
We What you don't want to do is think the race is over, come down pit road right now.
That's exactly right. We've seen it happen.
That's why you don't see Richard celebrating yet.
He's been around a long time, and now finally for the first time in his career, Clint Boyer will come down and take the checkered flag as a winner at Daytona.
The 18 almost pulled down there.
There it is. Now they can celebrate.
Guys, hell of a job, Clint. You done it, buddy. Hell of a job. Good job there, Doug. Everybody.
Richard Childress, 53 wins and now 54 as a NASCAR Nationwide Series owner. A moment ago, we talked about the cars involved in the accident here coming to the white flag, and Mike Bliss able to get out of his car and walk away. Here's the crash again, coming to the white flag.
Wow, Robert Richard basically just went across the racetrack in front of these guys.
Jason Keller involved. There comes Bliss across. He gets turned right into the wall.
Used up that one car.
Now from Robert Richardson's onboard camera.
Yeah, and clear to the middle if you need it. Yep.
Now this is going to be eerie from Mike Bliss, who got turned back up into the wall as he almost got by.
All weekend long, Mike Bliss has been dodging wrecks, staying out, finding the holes.
Still outside, crash in front of you.
Out right here.
Yeah.
They got him, guys. They got it. Hang on, Mike. Hang on.
Yeah, we could hear Robert Richardson's spotter telling him he was clear to the middle there, but he cut up a little bit too far. He wasn't clear of Jason Keller.
Everybody has climbed out of their car.
Drivers able to get out of the cars, and there is Clint Boyer still circulating here at Daytona, trying to believe what he has just done. He led the most laps here in February, and he did it again tonight. He led 3 times for 48 laps. The only difference is tonight, Clint Boyer is the winner at Daytona. When we come back, we'll talk to Clint, Richard Childress, and the entire team as they celebrate the big victory here in Daytona. The NASCAR Nationwide Series race is history here in our aerial coverage from high above. Clint Boyer's win tonight has been provided by our good friends at Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. New Fuel Max tires help you have a winning fuel strategy. And again, as they come across for the start-finish line, after the green-white-checkered is invoked and the caution comes out, NASCAR does not use the scoring loops to determine the finish. They freeze the field immediately and they look at the video, which is what they're doing next to us to confirm how they finished on the racetrack. And here is our winner. We know who won the race, Clint Boyer, for the first time in his career in victory lane at Daytona.
It turned out to be a bad day for what? Clint Boyer, you won at Daytona. What's that feel like?
Finally, I tell you, I can't begin to tell you what this place means to me, my family, everything you ever worked for is to come to Daytona, let alone win a race here. Nationwide race, Holiday Inn. Just want to thank everybody. Want to thank Chevrolet. What an incredible race car. The fans for coming out. This is one of the best places to watch a race, and people got their money's worth tonight. It's just a great race.
Talk about having the lead late and knowing those guys were bearing down on you. How'd you hold them off?
The Wolves were coming, and he made a good call. Doug made a good call to stay out and not take tires. I got nervous when I saw Harvick and the 6 car, the 60, all coming on tires, but the 18, Kyle gave me a good push right there at the end. Luckily, the caution came out. Who knows what happened in that last lap, but we'll go pretty fast tonight.
You needed this, but this organization needed this too.
We did. I told Richard before, it's been tough this year. Been tough on him, been tough on everybody. Just real proud of everybody. Everybody at RCR, ECR, the engine program. This is pretty special.
All right, let's go to Shannon Spake. By the way, he gets his name on the car for the rest of the year in his final tour in the 29 car. Shannon?
Dave, down here with Kyle Busch, second place finish. Clint Boyer in victory lane just said that if the caution had not come out, he doesn't know what would have happened. You and Joey were hooked up. What do you think would have happened if you would have done that last lap?
I'm not sure, really. Getting us two teamed up, going through 1 and 2 and down the back, maybe we could have got a good enough run and gotten to his rear bumper through 3 and 4. But you know, we're proud of that second place effort. You know, that was the best we had. Clint's car was better than ours tonight, so we've got some work to do before we come back here, but a lot of that work's going to be under the hood. You know, Mark's got some homework to do for us when we come back here, and cars are going to be different anyway, so this was the last race for him. Maybe we should have all just wadded it up there at the checkered, but I didn't think about that. We got nationwide COTs here next time, so good job by the whole NOS Energy Drink team, and proud of second. We'll take that to the RCR bunch and go on into Chicago.
Second place finisher, your points leader, Kyle Busch. Jamie?
Carl Edwards finishes third. How close do you feel like you guys were, Carl?
That was close. I didn't know whether to take tires or not. I mean, these Goodyear tires that they brought here, they're perfect. They give up. They put a little strategy into the race, and our Save-A-Lot Scott's Ford Fusion was really good there at the end. And I was cheating a little bit because I had those tires, but when I was following Clint, I know he's a dirt racer, and I know he can hang on for a long time, but it was getting looser and looser, and I just hated to see that restart for us to have to go the outside. But my man Brad Keselowski, he pushed me and didn't spin me out. That was awesome. We had a good run, and I think we ended up third, so it was a great points day.
No cheating. It was all strategy, Carl. Alan?
All right, so Carl and Kyle just about back-to-back on the racetrack at the end. In fact, Kyle did finish second, Carl third. There's the gap, 172, heading to Chicagoland next weekend. Reminder, tune in Sunday at 1 Eastern on ABC for the IndyCar Series at Watkins Glen. And then that Chicagoland race for the NASCAR Nationwide Series is next Friday night, Brad, at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Quick final thought on tonight?
Yeah, Kyle and Carl, they did what we thought they'd do. Congratulations to Clint Boyer. Boy, Jason Leffler, though, he had a great race car. Wished he could have finished this thing up strong.
So Clint Boyer gets the Richard Childress Racing Team a much-needed victory in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Coming up next is Sports Center. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. The rain came through earlier today, almost kept Boyer from the pole. He got the #1 starting spot to begin the race, and he's going to get the trophy at the end of the night.